Chapter 4067. Light of Destruction. Dark Demon. This was Huang Yindao and Gongzi Xian's ultimate skill. Huang Yindao's ultimate skill was an innate ability. It was powerful, and there was no need to elaborate on it. Gongzi Xian's ultimate skill was an ability given to him by his bloodline. It was also an innate ability passed down from his race. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent in the face of the two's attacks. The Blade of God flew out from his dantian. In the air, the Blade of God split into two and slashed at the Light of Destruction and the Dark Demon. The Blade of God was an ability that Lin Feng obtained when his sovereign bloodline was deeply awakened. It was an extremely terrifying ability. Once the Blade of God's power was unleashed, it would unleash a heaven-defying combat strength. How could the bloodline of the sovereign bloodline be weak? Clang, clang. The Blade of God collided with Huang Yindao's Light of Destruction and Gongzi Xian's Dark Demon. The collision between the two sides was so intense that it tore the void apart. Lin Feng's Blade of God and Huang Yindao's Light of Destruction were destroyed. Gongzi Xian's Dark Demon also vanished. Today, I'll let you know how powerful I am. Lin Feng looked at Gongzi Xian and the Dark Demon with an indifferent expression. Lin Feng's body released a destructive qi which could destroy the earth and sky. Next, Lin Feng used the Great Karma Art and Great Reincarnation Art. Lin Feng summoned the Gate of Karma and Plate of Reincarnation. The Gate of Karma descended from the sky and suppressed the two. The Plate of Reincarnation spun violently. Every time it spun, it would produce an unimaginably terrifying power. The terrifying power bombarded Huang Yindao and Gongzi Xian. Bang, bang. Two consecutive dull sounds of collision were heard. Huang Yindao and Gongzi Xian were sent flying. Barf, barf. Both of them spat out a mouthful of blood. At the same time, the Karma Gate came crashing down, suppressing the two of them in the void. How can you be so powerful? Huang Yindao and Gongzi Xian's expressions were extremely ugly. Only now did they realize that they had seriously underestimated Lin Feng's combat strength. Even if Lin Feng didn't use any of his magic treasures and relied solely on the power of his divine ability, he still wouldn't be able to break through the barrier. He was actually able to suppress the two of them, even though he was unwilling to believe all of this. However, this was the truth. Ant-like thing. Die. Lin Feng did not answer the two of them. He continued to control the Gate of Karma and the Wheel of Samsara to attack the two of them. The Gate of Karma was summoned by the third-ranked 3000 Great Tao Karma Art. The Plate of Reincarnation was summoned by the Great Reincarnation Art of the 3000 Great Tao, which was ranked 4th. These two 3000 Grand Taos were profound and unfathomable, and their might was unimaginably terrifying. Even numerous immortal arts were probably unable to go against these 3000 Grand Taos that were ranked so high. As for Lin Feng, he used these two divine abilities together, allowing them to connect and complement each other. Whether it was the Gate of Karma or the Plate of Samsara, their power would be greatly increased. It could be said that this combination divine ability was one of Lin Feng's most powerful techniques at the moment. With Lin Feng's tyrannical combat strength, he was able to use such a powerful trump card. Gongzi Xian and Huang Yindao were not surprised that he managed to injure Huang Yindao. Although the two of them were powerful, there was still a certain gap between them and Lin Feng. After Huang Yindao and Gongzi Xian felt the surging power, their faces turned extremely ugly. The two of them knew that they were now at a disadvantage, and it was too difficult to turn the situation around. Lin Feng's combat strength was extremely terrifying. They had to quickly destroy Lin Feng's divine ability. Otherwise, the situation would be extremely dangerous. At this moment, the two of them knew that they had to go all out. Huang Yindao used the 1000 Demon God Transformation divine ability. This divine ability was extremely domineering. It could refine others and greatly increase one's combat strength in a short period of time. However, the key point was that there were only 3 people in this place: Lin Feng, Huang Yindao, and Gongzi Xian. Huang Yindao naturally had no target to refine. He could only burn his own blood essence to support this divine ability. A large amount of blood essence burned, which made Huang Yindao's heart ache. Huang Yindao hated Lin Feng to the core. Although the Myriad Tribe Sacred Palace could guarantee the resurrection of cultivators, however, The injuries received here would not be healed. If he was really killed and resurrected, he would probably be severely injured. Therefore, Huang Yindao was burning his blood essence. His blood essence was really being consumed. Even if he was killed and resurrected by Lin Feng, his blood essence would still be greatly reduced. Gongzi Xian also used a desperate divine ability. This divine ability was called the Insane Demon Vitality Increase Technique. This divine ability was also a divine ability that could greatly increase one's combat strength. However, all divine abilities that could greatly increase one's combat strength had various flaws. For example, Huang Yindao's Thousand Demon God Transformation divine ability could not refine others, so he could only refine his own blood essence. On the other hand, Gongzi Xian's divine ability would consume a large amount of the user's lifespan, increasing vitality and reducing lifespan. This was the characteristic of this divine ability. Increasing vitality meant greatly increasing one's combat strength, and reducing lifespan meant that in order to greatly increase one's combat strength, one had to greatly reduce one's lifespan. Therefore, it didn't matter if it was Huang Yindao. It was still Gongzi Xian. They were now gnashing their teeth in hatred for Lin Feng. In their opinion, if it wasn't for Lin Feng, they wouldn't have ended up like this. After the two's combat strength had greatly increased, they immediately displayed a powerful attack. Huang Yindao attacked with all his strength and used the Infinite Ocean Divine ability to destroy Lin Feng's reincarnation plate. Gongzi Xian, on the other hand, used the Heaven Extinguishing Demon to destroy the Gate of Karma. Then, the two of them wanted to escape from the palace. Their confidence had been destroyed by Lin Feng, so they didn't dare to stay at all. However, they wanted to escape, but it was already too late. When they used all their means to increase their combat strength to deal with Lin Feng's Karma Gate and Reincarnation Plate, Lin Feng had already begun to use the Great Fate technique. Lin Feng directly summoned the River of Fate. A loud rumbling sound was heard as the River of Fate swept towards the two of them. Not good, quickly dodge. Huang Yindao's expression changed after sensing the terrifying aura of the River of Fate. He shouted in a deep voice. He quickly dodged the suppression of the River of Fate. Gongzi Xian didn't dare to hesitate and also quickly dodged the suppression of the River of Fate. However, the two of them couldn't avoid the suppression of the River of Fate. The River of Fate fell from the sky and directly enveloped Huang Yindao and Gongzi Xian. The powerful power of fate surged. The two of them resisted the attack of the power of fate with difficulty. At this time, Lin Feng turned into a sword chi and streaked across the void. Chapter 4068. After the two were killed, their bodies began to turn illusory. Not long after, their storage rings fell to the ground. As for their bodies, they disappeared without a trace. Lin Feng picked up their storage rings. One of them was a Super Sky Pride of the Golden Saint Lion race, while the other was a Super Sky Pride of the Sky Devil race. They must have many good things on them. Lin Feng's divine telekinesis first entered Huang Yindao's storage ring. Other than Huang Yindao's blood-colored spear, there were many other good things in his storage ring. For example, a peak Emperor-level shield. This was a powerful defensive treasure. Another example was a peak Emperor-level giant bow. This giant bow was definitely a top-tier treasure. The value of these treasures was extraordinary. It was enough to make one's heart race. Other than that, Huang Yindao's storage ring had mountains of immortal stones. There were also all kinds of heavenly treasures, divine stones, immortal iron, and so on. It could be said that the treasures on Huang Yindao's body were too shocking. Next, Lin Feng checked the treasures on Gongzi Xian. Gongzi Xian had many treasures too. That demonic saber was very powerful. Its grade should be similar to Huang Yindao's blood-colored spear. Lin Feng guessed that it should be an immortal weapon at the itinerant immortal level. Other than that, Gongzi Xian had also cultivated many insect eggs. Perhaps it was because of the eggs, Gongzi Xian had collected a lot of insect materials. Lin Feng even found many insect materials used to cultivate the primordial ancestral insect and the Emperor Archaic. This made Lin Feng very happy. Those insect eggs were very valuable. The key was that they were very difficult to find. Gongzi Xian also had an itinerant immortal level soft armor. However, that soft armor seemed to be for women. Men could not wear it at all. Other than that, Gongzi Xian also had a lot of immortal stones, heavenly treasures, immortal iron, divine stones, and so on. These two fellows had extraordinary backgrounds. Therefore, they had a lot of good things on them. Lin Feng only glanced at the treasures in their storage rings. He did not carefully check what was in their storage rings. Then, he put away their storage rings. Lin Feng continued to comprehend the divine abilities in the palace. Currently, Lin Feng had only learned the cultivation method of the Thor's hammer. He still had 7 divine abilities that he had yet to learn. Lin Feng continued to enter the state of epiphany. At the same time, Lin Feng entered the state of epiphany. Outside the myriad tribes temple, whoosh, whoosh, 2 rays of light flashed. Next, the 2 cultivators fell to the ground from the void. Wow, wow. The 2 cultivators coughed up large mouthfuls of blood. Outside the myriad tribes temple, many people came to pay their respects to the myriad tribes temple every day. Therefore, the sudden appearance of the 2 people who suddenly fell from the sky and vomited blood attracted the attention of many people. Everyone looked at the 2 of them. Oh my God! Wasn't that Huang Yandao of the Golden Saint Lion race and Gongzi Xian of the Sky Devil race? Why did these 2 suddenly appear here? And why are they both coughing up blood? Someone recognized Huang Yandao and Gongzi Xian and asked in confusion. They should be cultivating in the myriad tribes temple right now. Now that they've come out, both of them are seriously injured. There's only one reason for this, and that is, the 2 of them were killed in the myriad tribes temple. That's why they were teleported out by the rules of the myriad tribes temple and resurrected outside. A cultivator who was more familiar with the rules of the myriad tribes temple explained. Killed in the myriad tribes holy palace? Resurrected outside? What does that mean? Someone asked in confusion. It's said that due to some special rules of the myriad tribes temple, the cultivators who die in the myriad tribes temple will be resurrected outside. After listening to the cultivator's explanation, everyone finally understood what the cultivator meant by his words. The 2 of them are very powerful. They appeared outside together, so they should have been killed at the same time, right? Who could be so powerful to kill the 2 of them? Someone asked in confusion. Could it be Lin Feng and the others? Then someone mentioned a name. When they heard the name Lin Feng, many people couldn't help but suck in a cold breath. That was because this name was as terrifying as a demon in the hearts of countless cultivators. The news of Lin Feng summoning 2 swarms of insects to deal with 30 experts had spread like wildfire. That battle had resulted in a situation where 1 escaped and 24 died. Many people still had lingering fears when they talked about that chaotic battle. The black swarm of insects, it was simply too despairing. Lin Feng, you little bastard. We'll fight you to the death, Huang Yandao said. Gongzi Xian and Gongzi Xian roared in anger. Their eyes had turned blood red. The 2 of them hated Lin Feng to the core, especially now that Lin Feng had taken away all their savings over the years. They wanted nothing more than to eat Lin Feng's flesh and drink Lin Feng's blood. After hearing the 2's roars, everyone knew that Lin Feng was the one who killed the 2 of them in the myriad tribes' sacred palace. However, no one knew the exact details. Huang Yandao and Gongzi Xian were too ashamed to stay here any longer. After venting their anger, the 2 of them quickly left. Lin Feng was unaware of what was happening outside. At this moment, he was comprehending the great Tao in the palace. As time passed, Lin Feng picked out some of the abilities that he cultivated. The abilities that Lin Feng chose were all high-grade abilities. Saint Immortal Grade Ability, Clairaudient. Once cultivated successfully, I'll be able to hear any movement within 100 miles. Saint Immortal Grade Ability, Indestructible Vajra Divine Technique. Once cultivated successfully, divine weapons can't harm my body. My body's strength is comparable to the best treasures. Saint Immortal Grade Ability, Teleportation. Once cultivated successfully, I'll be able to teleport with just my will. Lin Feng had found 3 abilities that he was satisfied with. Clairaudient was very important to Lin Feng. It could help Lin Feng detect danger or enemies in his surroundings. Besides, if Lin Feng succeeded in learning the indestructible Vajra skill, then his physical body's defensive capabilities would increase tremendously. When that happened, Lin Feng's body would become indestructible with the support of the indestructible Vajra body. Teleportation was even more useful to Lin Feng. During the battle. Chapter 4069. By now, Lin Feng had found 4 divine abilities. There were only 4 left. Lin Feng continued looking around in the vast world. He wanted to find a skill that he liked. He was immersed in a state of epiphany as his consciousness flew across the stars. The divine abilities recorded in the stars quickly flashed through Lin Feng's mind. Time passed quickly. Lin Feng had comprehended many divine abilities. Among the many divine abilities, he picked out 2 that he liked. Netherworld's Descent, Sage Immortal Divine Ability. Once cultivated, can summon a netherworld to fight against enemies. Chaos Seed Green Lotus, Sage Immortal Divine Ability. Once cultivated, can summon a chaos world. Golden lotuses will be born from the chaos world. Possesses extremely powerful attack power. These 2 divine abilities were both offensive divine abilities. Once unleashed, they could display extremely terrifying offensive attributes. Lin Feng just so happened to be in need of such powerful divine abilities. Lin Feng continued to search for the last 2 divine abilities. He flew past one star after another before finally landing on one. On that star, Lin Feng saw boundless sacred light surging. Within the sacred light, 9 ancient existences appeared. There were men and women among the 9 existences, but each of them was terrifying to an unimaginable degree. They were like ancient existences that had existed since the beginning of time. They were like creators, eternal and immortal. Human emperors. Lin Feng looked at the 9 people in the sacred light in shock. He felt that they were ancient human emperors. Human emperors. Ancient sacred emperors revered by the human race. The 9 human emperors had made outstanding contributions to the development of the human race. It could be said without reservation that if the 9 human emperors hadn't done so much for the human race wouldn't have been wiped out. Wouldn't the human race have perished long ago? Is this the legacy of the 9 human emperors? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. He sat cross-legged on the star, trying to comprehend the divine abilities here. However, after many attempts, Lin Feng didn't gain anything. The Tao of the 9 human emperors. It wasn't that easy to comprehend, but Lin Feng didn't give up. He was still comprehending the Tao of the 9th human emperor. 9 generations of Renhuangs came out together. If they could comprehend the Great Path here, they would definitely be able to obtain some incredible inheritance of the Great Path. It was hard to imagine how terrifying the Great Path passed down by 9 generations of Renhuangs would be. As time passed, Lin Feng gradually sensed something special. He felt that he seemed to be connected with the aura of the 9 emperors. Lin Feng found that he seemed to be one of them. 9 emperors descend to the heavens. At this moment, 9 deep voices resounded in Lin Feng's mind. These were the voices of the 9 emperors. Then, a lot of information appeared in Lin Feng's mind. This information included an introduction to this mystic ability, as well as the cultivation chant of this mystic ability. This mystic ability was called the 9 Emperors Descending to the Heavens. The level of this mystic ability was very vague, but according to the label, it was a mystic ability that surpassed the Sage Immortal Realm. This greatly shocked Lin Feng. He couldn't determine what level of mystic ability it was for the time being. However, Lin Feng felt that it should be on the same level as a Thought to Blossom and Sovereign's Descent. Lin Feng wasn't sure if there were realms above the Immortal Realm, but it was said that the classification of mystic abilities could surpass the classification of a cultivator's realm. For example, if the highest realm of a cultivator was the Sage Immortal Realm, then theoretically speaking, the highest level of a mystic ability would surpass the highest realm of a cultivator. In other words, it could surpass the Sage Immortal Realm. The 9 Emperors descending to the heavens excited Lin Feng. Once he successfully cultivated such a heaven-defying mystic ability, it would definitely be of great help to him. This was the 7th mystic ability that Lin Feng had obtained. There was still one more that he hadn't obtained. Lin Feng continued his search. Suddenly, Lin Feng saw a simple and unadorned star amidst the boundless starry sky. He landed on this star and began to comprehend Tao on it. After an indeterminate amount of time, Lin Feng sensed that he'd sunk into a mysterious world. There were 6 enormous black holes that distorted time and space in this world. They seemed to be able to send one into the cycle of reincarnation. Each black hole represented a Tao. Lin Feng was extremely shocked. This mystic ability was somewhat familiar to Lin Feng. He thought of one of the supreme techniques of the human race, the 6 paths of reincarnation. There were still a few cultivators who'd cultivated the 6 paths of reincarnation. Only those who'd inherited the human bloodline could cultivate this mystic ability. This was definitely one of the strongest mystic abilities in the history of the human race. It was said that countless sages of the human race had painstakingly created this supreme mystic ability after experiencing many great eras. However, there were also rumors that a certain peerless figure had spent his entire life creating this mystic ability. There were even rumors that this peerless figure was the ancestor of the sovereign race. There were many rumors, but no matter which one was true, there was one thing that couldn't be ignored. That was, this divine ability was simply too terrifying, and its allure to human cultivators was unimaginable. Am I really going to comprehend the 6 paths of reincarnation? Lin Feng couldn't help but grow excited. Senior Savage, Senior Duguya, and the others had all cultivated the 6 paths of reincarnation. Lin Feng had seen them use the 6 paths of reincarnation before. Now that he thought of its power, he couldn't help but feel awe. Lin Feng had always coveted the 6 paths of reincarnation, but he'd never had the chance to obtain it. Now, was he finally going to obtain the cultivation method for the 6 paths of reincarnation? Lin Feng continued to meditate. He worked hard to comprehend the cultivation method for this mystic ability. However, the more powerful a mystic ability was, the more difficult it was to comprehend. He didn't know how much time had passed. Perhaps it was 3 months, perhaps half a year, perhaps a year, or perhaps 3 years. Lin Feng continued to meditate on the mystic ability. During this time, other cultivators even entered the palace where Lin Feng cultivated. However, Lin Feng knew nothing of what was happening in the outside world. He continued to meditate on the mystic ability. The mystic ability was simply too attractive to Lin Feng. Finally, one day, Lin Feng imprinted the first rune in his mind. A journey of 1,000 miles began with a single step. Lin Feng was extremely excited that he'd finally obtained the cultivation method for this mystic ability. As time passed, more and more runes were imprinted in Lin Feng's mind. Roughly a month later, Lin Feng completed the complete set of runes in his mind. Chapter 4070. 6 Paths of Reincarnation Fist. Creator. Unknown. Grade. Unknown. Legend has it that this fist is a divine fist derived from the human race's supreme ability, the 6 paths of reincarnation. A single punch can destroy the world. Lin Feng looked at the ability's description and found that it wasn't the supreme 6 paths of reincarnation. However, it was related to the 6 paths of reincarnation. This made Lin Feng extremely surprised. It seemed that this 6 paths of reincarnation fist was of an extremely high grade. Although it wasn't at the level of the 6 paths of reincarnation, its power was still unimaginably terrifying. I'll get the 6 paths of reincarnation fist first. In the future, I'll definitely be able to obtain the cultivation method of the 6 paths of reincarnation. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. His divine will retreated from the state of enlightenment. Lin Feng had now gathered 8 types of abilities. There was no need to comprehend them anymore. That would be a pure waste of time. Lin Feng woke up and found a cultivator comprehending the Tao not far away. Lin Feng didn't disturb her. He took out the token and with a thought, left the Tao Comprehension Palace and arrived at the main hall outside. The female cultivator looked at Lin Feng and said, "Looks like you've gathered all the abilities you want to cultivate." Lin Feng nodded and said, "Yes. Can you prepare a place for me to cultivate in seclusion?" "Of course." The female cultivator nodded and waved her right hand. Lin Feng disappeared. The next moment, Lin Feng reappeared in a secret room. If he cultivated in seclusion here, no one would disturb him. Now, Lin Feng wanted to learn the 9 new skills before leaving the 10,000 Clans Holy Shrine. Among the 9 abilities, Thor's Hammer, Clairaudient, Teleportation, Indestructible Vajra, Netherworld's Descent. The Chaos Seed Green Lotus abilities were all at the Sage Immortal level. The 9 Emperor's Descent was above the Sage Immortal level. The 6 Paths of Reincarnation Fist was related to the 6 Paths of Reincarnation. Its level was unknown, but Lin Feng felt that it was at least at the level of the 9 Emperors descending to the heavens, or even stronger. If he could successfully cultivate these 9 divine abilities, Lin Feng felt that his battle prowess would take another big step forward. Lin Feng entered the time and space to cultivate. Cultivating in the time and space could save a lot of time. Lin Feng began to comprehend the 9 divine abilities. Time passed quickly. One divine ability after another was successfully cultivated by Lin Feng. In the end, Lin Feng successfully cultivated all 9 mystiques. Lin Feng immediately felt that his accumulation had greatly increased. His foundation had been greatly improved. His battle prowess had also increased substantially. Although he hadn't made a breakthrough in his realm, the increase in his battle prowess made Lin Feng very happy. Shua. With a flash of light, Lin Feng left the secret room and returned to the hall outside. Lin Feng looked at the female cultivator and handed the token to her, saying, "I've finished cultivating. I plan to leave the Myriad Tribe's sacred palace." "You've cultivated very quickly. So many divine abilities. I'm afraid you've only seen a small portion of them, and you've only seen a small portion of each hall. Don't you think it's a pity that you haven't seen the other halls?" The female cultivator looked at Lin Feng and asked. Lin Feng smiled and said, "I don't think it's a pity at all. The palace I'm in might have even more powerful divine abilities, and the other palaces might have even more powerful divine abilities. But so what? The strongest divine ability isn't necessarily the most suitable for me. I believe that the divine abilities I've chosen are the most suitable for me." The female cultivator was very shocked after hearing Lin Feng's words. She nodded and said, "You've been able to recognize yourself and not blindly pursue those powerful divine abilities. Just based on this point alone, your state of mind has surpassed many people. Thank you for the praise." Lin Feng cupped his fists. "We'll meet again if fate wills it," the female cultivator said, and then sent Lin Feng out. Outside the Myriad Tribe's sacred palace, with a flash of divine light, Lin Feng descended from the sky. "Look, someone's coming out of the Myriad Tribe's sacred palace." "Who's that? Don't tell me he was also killed and revived outside the Myriad Tribe's sacred palace?" Many cultivators couldn't help but discuss. Heavens, isn't that Lin Feng? Very quickly, some people recognized Lin Feng and gasped in surprise. "What? He's Lin Feng?" Many cultivators exclaimed. Who didn't know Lin Feng's name? Who didn't know him? Now that Lin Feng had appeared, everyone was shocked. Of course, the cultivators of the Sacred War Alliance were filled with hostility and killing intent towards Lin Feng. However, the cultivators of the Sacred War Alliance didn't dare to offend him. They didn't dare to provoke Lin Feng too much. How many years have passed since the cultivators entered the Myriad Tribe's sacred palace? Lin Feng looked at a cultivator beside him. The cultivator didn't dare to delay and hurriedly said, "It's been 5 years." 5 years? Lin Feng raised an eyebrow. 5 years wasn't particularly long. Lin Feng was about to leave when dozens of cultivators flew over from afar. Among them, Lin Feng saw Huang Yandao and Gongzi Xian. Apart from Huang Yandao and Gongzi Xian, there were 2 other experts. The expert from the Golden Sacred Lions was a middle-aged cultivator with a deep and terrifying aura. The cultivator on Gongzi Xian's side was a skinny old man surrounded by endless evil aura. Those 2 people's cultivation levels were unfathomable. That group of people quickly flew over and surrounded Lin Feng. Lin Feng killed Huang Yandao in the Myriad Tribe's sacred palace. Gongzi Xian. Although Huang Yandao and Gongzi Xian were revived outside, their treasures and other things ended up in Lin Feng's hands. Most importantly, they lost the chance to cultivate in the Myriad Tribe's sacred palace. The Sacred War Alliance couldn't wait to get rid of Lin Feng. Because of this, their old worries and new hatred were added together. For the past few years, the 2 factions have been sending people to monitor this place, waiting for Lin Feng to appear. Now that Lin Feng has appeared, the experts from the 2 factions immediately rushed over. "I'm afraid Lin Feng is finished," a cultivator said. Then, someone else said, Lin Feng's cultivation is powerful. It's unfathomable. I think so. He should have a way to escape. Not necessarily. Needless to say, Huang Yindao and Gongzi Xian's strength is extremely powerful. However, the key point is not them. The two experts that they brought with them are terrifying. They are both experts who came out of the divine stones. The expert that Huang Yindao brought with him is called Huang Yinchang. The expert Gongzi Xian brought with him is called Maleficent. It's said that the two of them were itinerant immortals at their peak. Although their cultivation has dropped, they still have the combat strength of a peak emperor. With the help of Huang Yindao, Gongzi Xian, and so many other experts, Lin Feng is dead for sure. Chapter 4071. Lin Feng, you little bastard that deserves 1,000 cuts. You didn't expect to fall into our hands today, did you? A resentful roar came from afar. The person who spoke was Huang Yindao. Huang Yindao hated Lin Feng to the core. Now that he and Gongzi Xian had brought the experts of their clan here, he finally saw hope for revenge. Therefore, Huang Yindao was naturally very excited. Lin Feng didn't run away when he saw the group. Instead, he stood there calmly, waiting for them to arrive. Many people couldn't help but mutter, why didn't Lin Feng run away? He should have run away quickly. If he didn't, wouldn't he die? Even if he couldn't escape, he had to give it a try. Could it be that he knew he couldn't escape, so he gave up? Soon, this group of people flew over. They completely surrounded Lin Feng. Gongzi Xian said resentfully, Lin Feng, have you thought about how you're going to die? We won't let you die so easily. We'll definitely torture you before taking your life. Lin Feng glanced at the two indifferently. Then, he said, I was wondering who it was. So it's the two of you who lost to me. You still don't know how to repent after dying once? You actually dare to cause trouble for me? You're quite bold. Looks like you two trash want to die again? Many people's mouths twitched violently when they heard Lin Feng address Huang Yindao and Gongzi Xian. Huang Yindao and Gongzi Xian were absolute geniuses, yet Lin Feng actually called them trash. He was too arrogant. Moreover, there were two cultivators of the top of the Great D layer there. They were both Huang Yindao and Gong Zishuan's elders. Lin Feng didn't even pay attention to them. He continued calling Huang Yindao and Gong Zishuan pieces of trash. Wasn't he completely looking down on the other party? Everyone had seen arrogant people before, but they had never seen someone as arrogant as Lin Feng. Many people felt that Lin Feng was simply trying to kill them. Brat. Death was at hand. Yet he still dared to be so arrogant and despotic. Don't tell me you've become stupid from all that cultivation? Huang Yindao sneered and looked at Lin Feng. Lin Feng curled his lips and said, You're the one who's gone crazy from cultivating. Your whole family's brains have all gone stupid from cultivating. After hearing Lin Feng's words, Huang Yindao was so angry that his whole body trembled. Lin Feng continued, I'm arrogant, I'm domineering, and I like it. What can you do about it? There's no need to say anything more to this kid. Suppress him and torture him later. Gongzi Xian said. Huang Yindao also had the same plan. He knew that bickering with Lin Feng was just asking for a beating. In that case, then he would use his actions to deal with Lin Feng. Huang Yindao and Gongzi Xian looked at Huang Yinchang and Maleficent respectively. They said in unison, Senior, please help us suppress this kid. Yes. The two of them nodded and stepped forward. They agreed to help Huang Yindao and Gongzi Xian because Lin Feng had many treasures, supernatural powers, and endless wealth. Otherwise, with their strength, they wouldn't have participated in this matter. Kid, there are some people you can't afford to offend. However, if you offend these people, you're destined to end up in an extremely miserable state. Huang Yinchang sneered. It's over. Maleficent's voice was as cold as ice. The two of them began to condense their supernatural powers to deal with Lin Feng. Desolate sky palm. Huang Yinchang's voice was indifferent as he sent a palm strike at Lin Feng. The supernatural power he condensed was extremely terrifying. A desolate aura spread between heaven and earth. It was as if an ancient existence from the desolate era was about to be resurrected. Huang Yinchang's body emitted a deep and terrifying aura. With a strike of his palm, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Holy Devil Imperial Technique. At the same time, Maleficent's supernatural power was also condensed. Endless demonic chi surged out from his body. Maleficent stood in the middle of the demonic chi. He seemed to have transformed into an immortal demon god. He was so powerful and terrifying. His aura, it was enough to shake the world and destroy heaven and earth. The two of them attacked like two ancient gods and demons. After sensing the aura from the two of them, the surrounding cultivators' faces turned as pale as paper. Heavens! As expected of a peak sovereign emperor. Isn't this too terrifying? That's right. We just felt their auras, and we couldn't take it anymore. I can't imagine how powerful their attacks are. Lin Feng is dead for sure. No one in this world can save Lin Feng. Exclamations of shock could be heard. Everyone's face was filled with deep shock. In the eyes of the onlookers, Lin Feng couldn't escape even if he had wings. The two old ancestors are indeed powerful. That brat Lin Feng will definitely be suppressed by the two old ancestors. When the time comes, I'll cut him into pieces. Huang Yindao looked at Lin Feng with a venomous gaze. Gongzi Xian said, I'll extract his soul and throw it into the myriad ghost cave. I'll let the ghosts gnaw on his soul day and night. He'll never be able to reincarnate. The two of them hated Lin Feng too much. Each of them was more venomous than the other. Facing the attacks of the two great experts, Lin Feng looked calm and indifferent. Since the two of you are here to die, I'll deal with the two of you first. Lin Feng's indifferent voice could be heard. Hearing Lin Feng's arrogant words, everyone shook their heads speechlessly. They felt that Lin Feng was too good at bragging. What kind of situation was this? He was still bragging? After Lin Feng finished speaking, he began to prepare his supernatural power. Between heaven and earth, the human race shall be the emperor. All laws shall crumble, and the human emperor shall be immortal. Lin Feng's voice resounded between heaven and earth. After he finished speaking, Yi Zichen's voice faded away. Two ancient existences appeared in the void. The two existences wore crowns and royal robes. They were surrounded by holy light as they enlightened the people. They were the two human emperors. Lin Feng used the 9 emperors descending to the heavens' divine ability. Lin Feng had already cultivated this divine ability to a lesser extent. He could only summon 2 silhouettes of the human emperors. He could only summon 9 silhouettes of the human emperors when he cultivated it to the peak. However, even if he could only summon 2 silhouettes of the human emperors, Lin Feng felt that it was more than enough to deal with the 2 of them. This was a divine ability that surpassed the Saint Immortal Grade Celestial Technique. Even Lin Feng did not know how powerful it was. Everyone saw the 2 silhouettes of the human emperors that Lin Feng summoned descending from the sky toward Huang Yinchang and Maleficent. Bang! Bang! The 2 silhouettes of the human emperors instantly broke through Huang Yinchang and Maleficent's divine abilities. Then, their palms landed on Huang Yinchang and Maleficent. Huang Yinchang and Maleficent flew backward as if they were struck by lightning. The sound of bones cracking could be heard. Chapter 4072. Oh my God! Are my eyes playing tricks on me? Huang Yinchang and Maleficent were beaten to the point of vomiting blood by Lin Feng with a single move? How is this possible? I must be dreaming, right? Hurry up and slap me. Let's see if I'm dreaming. The crowd went into an uproar. No one dared to believe what they were seeing. Huang Yinchang, Maleficent, that was an existence at the peak of the Emperor realm. What kind of terrifying expert was that? Experts like them had joined forces to deal with Lin Feng, but Lin Feng had beaten them to the point of vomiting blood with a single move. It was unbelievable. No one could believe what they were seeing, but it was all real. They had no choice but to believe it. Ant-like thing dares to cause trouble for young master? Don't tell me you don't know how strong you are? After sending the 2 flying, Lin Feng walked towards them. His voice was still as cold as ever. His words were still as arrogant as ever. Many people had thought that Lin Feng was courting death by being so arrogant. But now, they all felt that Lin Feng's arrogance was only natural. Experts. They were high and mighty, looking down on the world from the corner of their eyes. Did Lin Feng have the right to look down on others? Lin Feng was like an immortal emperor. Surrounded by holy light, He charged towards Huang Yinchang and Maleficent at lightning speed. Many people were shocked. They were awed by Lin Feng's temperament. They even had the urge to worship Lin Feng. Strong. He's too strong. Lin Feng. He's already so strong at such a young age. How strong will he be in the future? He'll definitely be heaven-defying. Yeah, he's too terrifying. He's terrifyingly strong. I can't imagine how strong Lin Feng will become in the future. Huang Yinchang. I'm afraid Maleficent and the others are doomed. There was a lot of discussion. Now, everyone's attitude had undergone a 180-degree change. Huang Yinchang and Maleficent's faces were extremely ugly. Lin Feng was simply too powerful. If they had known earlier, they wouldn't have gotten involved in this mess. Now, he might even lose his life. The two of them did not dare to stay any longer. They turned around and quickly fled into the distance. You can't escape. Only death awaits you. Lin Feng's cold voice rang out. It sounded like the voice of the Grim Reaper. It resounded between heaven and earth. Blossom with a single thought. Sovereign's descent. Lin Feng struck out once more, unleashing an unparalleled ultimate skill. In the void, tens of thousands of flowers fell down, each of them containing an unimaginable amount of power. Flowers bloomed one after another in the void. When the flowers bloomed, a power that could destroy heaven and earth instantly erupted. Terrifying, terrifying, terrifying. When the flowers bloomed, the power that surged out had the power to destroy the world. Anyone who felt the power released after the flowers bloomed would tremble in fear. It was so terrifying that it made one feel despair. Huang Yinchang and Maleficent were horrified. They hurriedly took out their defensive treasures to protect their bodies. Bang, bang. Along with the sound of the violent collision, the defensive system formed by the two people's defensive treasures was instantly destroyed. At that moment, Lin Feng teleported and quickly arrived in front of the two. Fist of the Six Paths of Reincarnation. A deep voice suddenly resounded between heaven and earth. Lin Feng threw a punch at each of the two. Every punch contained the power to destroy the world. After sensing the power of Lin Feng's punch, Huang Yinchang and Maleficent's expressions turned extremely ugly. They didn't dare to hesitate and hurriedly blocked Lin Feng's attack. Huang Yinchang used the Golden Saint Lion Fist. When he punched out, endless holy light lingered around his fist. Maleficent, on the other hand, used the Sky Demon Immortal Destroying Fist. When he punched out, endless demonic light lingered around his fist. In the next moment, one after another, they collided with Lin Feng's fist. Something unbelievable happened. Huang Yinchang and Maleficent were both sent flying. Kacha, 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 kacha. Their arms were broken, and their bones were exposed. The destructive power surged into their bodies, destroying their vitality. Thump, thump. Both of them fell to the ground. They were bleeding from all orifices. They didn't move, and their auras were completely gone. They were killed by Lin Feng with a single punch. What a powerful Six Paths of Reincarnation fist. Lin Feng couldn't help but be deeply shocked. Originally, Lin Feng thought that after using the Six Paths of Reincarnation fist, he would at most seriously injure the two of them. Who would have thought that the Six Paths of Reincarnation fist would directly kill the two of them with a single punch? That was in existence at the peak of the Emperor realm. Although, they were injured previously, and their battle strength was affected. However, to be honest, their battle strength was still very heaven-defying. But they were still killed by Lin Feng with a single punch. It was enough to see how unbelievably powerful Lin Feng's punch was. Six Paths of Reincarnation Fist. It was indeed a divine ability closely related to the human race's supreme technique, the Six Paths of Reincarnation. In contrast to Lin Feng's shock at the Six Paths of Reincarnation Fist, at this moment, the surroundings were completely silent. Cultivators one by one. Their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. Lin Feng had killed two cultivators of the top of the Great Emperor layer in one punch. This was simply like a dream. Everyone's heart seemed to be surging with monstrous waves. Lin Feng was too powerful, so powerful that they couldn't help but tremble in fear. At this moment, the myriad tribes of the Sacred War Alliance were almost scared out of their wits. Fortunately, they didn't come out to cause trouble for Lin Feng. Run, run, run. Huang Yandao and Gongzi Xian screamed in horror. They just wanted to escape from this place. If they were given another chance, they would never cause trouble for Lin Feng again. Lin Feng was too terrifying, to the point that they were close to despair. Such an existence was simply unbeatable. The rest of the cultivators also fled in all directions. The cultivators who came with Huang Yandao and Gongzi Xian were almost scared to death by Lin Feng. Even two peak martial emperors were killed by Lin Feng with a single punch, let alone them. You can't escape. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent as he flicked his finger. Buzz, dense sword chi shot out. It quickly chased after the cultivators who were running away. Puff, puff, puff. Ripping sounds could be heard one after another as the cultivators who were running away were killed by Lin Feng's sword chi. Lin Feng leaped up and directly used the divine ability, man descending from the heavens, to slay immortals with a single slash. Lin Feng turned into a dazzling sword chi. He quickly caught up with Huang Yandao and Gongzi Xian. Puff, puff. A cold light flashed, and ripping sounds could be heard. Chapter 4073. In the blink of an eye, powerful enemies were turned into ashes. Everyone had heard of this saying before, but they didn't know what it was like. Today, they saw it for themselves. So many experts were killed by Lin Feng in the blink of an eye. This kind of shock was indescribable with words. After Lin Feng collected their origin energy and storage rings, he quickly left. After leaving Myriad Saint City, Lin Feng summoned the three-headed viper. He sat cross-legged on the middle head of the three-headed viper. The three-headed viper let out a series of deep roars. That huge body flew quickly in the air. This time, Lin Feng didn't greet Taoist Wuliang and the cursed doll. Lin Feng guessed that they were still cultivating in the Myriad Tribe's temple, so he didn't disturb them. Lin Feng wasn't worried about these two guys. If anyone dared to plot against them, the one who would suffer in the end would definitely be the one who plotted against them. These two guys were never the type to suffer losses. Half a year later, Lin Feng returned to Bewilderment Fog Island. Bewilderment Fog Island was thriving. After returning, Lin Feng went into seclusion for a period of time, mainly to stabilize himself. At night, Lin Feng stared at the bright moon in the sky in a daze. Bibi, the little guy, woke up from his slumber and flew out of time and space. It squeaked and squeaked. Lin Feng rubbed the little guy's head. Now, Lin Feng planned to leave the Heavenly Sage Great World. In the Heavenly Sage Great World, it was very difficult for Lin Feng to continue increasing his cultivation. Moreover, Lin Feng felt that his current strength was more or less enough to deal with the many dangers in the Undying Realm. Moreover, there was still a long way to go to the Undying Realm. On the way, Lin Feng felt that his cultivation could still increase greatly. So, after reaching the Undying Realm, it was enough to do it with ease. So what if Di Wudao had discovered his tracks? Di Wudao was indeed very powerful. Yi Shiwen admitted this point. However, it wouldn't be that easy for Di Wudao to capture him. Once Yi Shiwen had a firm foothold in the Undying Realm, he would definitely get rid of Di Wudao. Di Wudao, that bastard, betrayed his father back then. If Di Wudao hadn't betrayed his father, his family wouldn't have been so miserable. There was also his uncle, whom he had never met before, who was killed while escorting him and his father back to the city. Lin Feng felt like his chest was going to explode when he thought about it. He was so angry that he felt like he was going to explode. His body was going to explode. But before leaving, Lin Feng wanted to destroy a few imperial clans first. Initially, Lin Feng wanted to think of a way to destroy the Holy War Alliance, but the Holy War Alliance had ancient weapons. Even the Moon God couldn't do anything to them, let alone Lin Feng. Lin Feng was very clear about this. So the plan to destroy the Sacred War Alliance had to be put on hold for now. But even if he couldn't destroy the Sacred War Alliance, Lin Feng still had to vent his anger before leaving the Great Sage World. So many people had died in the 9 states back then. How could he not take revenge? Lin Feng informed Emperor Jiyan and the others that they would set off for the Golden Saint Lion's ancestral land in 5 days. The first one Lin Feng wanted to destroy was the Golden Saint Lion's tribe. The Golden Saint Lion's tribe was the royal family of the 10,000 races. Their foundation was naturally very strong. But Lin Feng's side was also very strong. Lin Feng originally had 12 Emperor-level experts under his command. He also had hundreds of Sage Emperor-level experts. So his strength was extremely strong. In the years that Lin Feng was gone, Emperor Juyin and the others persuaded some of their friends to come over. Their friends were willing to submit to Lin Feng. So after Lin Feng returned, the power of Bewilderment Fog Island increased greatly. Now, Bewilderment Fog Island had 20 Emperor-level experts and 735 Sage Emperor-level experts. Now that the apocalypse had arrived. So these experts began to band together. If they didn't band together, they were destined to meet a bad end. If it were any other time, Emperor Juyin and the others' friends might not necessarily submit to Lin Feng. But now, they chose to submit to Lin Feng. The main reason was because of the apocalypse. Their choice was extremely wise. Lin Feng left a portion of the Sage Emperor-level experts to guard Bewilderment Fog Island. He then led the others to the ancestral land of the Golden Saint Lion tribe. The ancestral land of the Golden Holy Lion clan was in the Golden Ancient Forest of the Draconic Prison Province. There was a kind of godly tree there, which was why it was called the Golden Holy Lion clan's ancestral land. Lin Feng and his subordinates arrived. At night, Lin Feng broke the deployment spell and led his subordinates into the ancestral land of the Golden Holy Lion clan. A great battle broke out. The cultivators led by Lin Feng were all elites. They were practically invincible. The Golden Saint Lion tribe still had 4 Emperor-level experts. The 4 Emperor-level experts led the experts of the Golden Saint Lion tribe to attack. "Who are you people?" The leading Emperor-level expert roared furiously. Someone actually dared to attack the ancestral land of the Golden Saint Lion tribe. This infuriated them greatly. "Human. Lin Feng." "What? You're Lin Feng? Since you've come to court death, we'll fulfill your wish." The 4 Emperor-level experts' eyes were filled with killing intent. They hated Lin Feng to the core. Clearly, the 4 Emperor-level experts didn't have a good understanding of the strength of Lin Feng's subordinates. If they did, they wouldn't have charged forward so recklessly. Lin Feng waved his hand. 20 Emperor-level experts flew out and attacked the 4 Emperor-level experts. The 4 Emperor-level experts' expressions changed drastically when they sensed the auras of so many experts. With so many Emperor-level experts attacking at the same time, the 4 of them had no way of fighting back at all. "Lin Feng, let's talk this out," the leading Emperor-level expert shouted out. He was so scared that his guts were about to explode. How could he dare to fight back? "Leave none alive," Lin Feng ordered coldly. "Yes," the 20 Emperor-level experts replied. When they joined forces, their fighting strength was heaven-defying. It didn't take long before the 4 Emperor-level experts of the Golden Saint Lion tribe were killed. This was a night of bloodshed. Other than a small number of people from the Golden Saint Lion tribe who managed to escape with their lives, the rest were all killed. This was war. War was cruel. War was bound to cause bloodshed. The news of the annihilation of the Golden Saint Lion tribe spread quickly, causing a huge uproar. One must know that the Golden Saint Lion tribe was a royal faction of the myriad races. To think that they would be annihilated in a single night. This was a huge shock to the hearts of the myriad races. Soon, another piece of news spread. The person who had annihilated the Golden Saint Lion tribe was none other than Lin Feng. Right now, Lin Feng had many experts under his command. Furthermore, Lin Feng himself was extremely terrifying. Therefore, the Golden Saint Lion tribe had no way of fighting back at all. Chapter 4074. Lin Feng. He was hated to the core by all the races of the Sacred War Alliance. Countless cultivators of the Sacred War Alliance wanted nothing more than to cut Lin Feng into 1,000 pieces. However, no one could do it. Lin Feng was still living a carefree life. Moreover, he was getting stronger and stronger. Even peak sage emperors couldn't kill Lin Feng. In this world, perhaps only those immortals could kill Lin Feng. Now that Lin Feng was fully fledged, many forces of the Sacred War Alliance couldn't sleep or eat in peace. After the Golden Saint Lion race was destroyed, many other races were destroyed. For example, the 9-headed insect race, a branch of the Sky Devil race, the Crimson Scorpion race, and more. More than a dozen ancient forces were destroyed. There was no lack of royal forces among them. For a moment, the forces of the Sacred War Alliance became extremely nervous, afraid that they would become Lin Feng's target. Invite the ancient weapon. The upper echelons of the Sacred War Alliance quickly came to an agreement. They planned to invite the ancient weapon to deal with Lin Feng. It was naturally not easy to invite the ancient weapon. Before they could do so, they had to perform a sacrifice. And this kind of sacrifice required the sacrifice of living people. This was an extremely tragic sacrifice. However, it was to kill Lin Feng. The various forces of the Sacred War Alliance. They couldn't care less anymore. In the end, the ancient weapon was invited. 3 ancient existences brought the ancient weapon to Lin Feng and the others. Brat, your time of death has come. Heavenly Blood Province, Heavenly Blood Plains. Both sides met. The 3 ancient existences of the Sacred War Alliance were filled with killing intent. They wanted to kill Lin Feng very much. Therefore, when they saw Lin Feng, they immediately activated the ancient weapon. Buzz. The ancient weapon flew out. It was an ancient weapon surrounded by blood energy. That ancient weapon was an evil blade that could kill all living things. The evil blade emitted a suffocating aura. However, Lin Feng was already prepared. He directly took out the demonic orb. The demonic orb was strange. It was extremely powerful. Although Lin Feng was still unable to truly unleash the power of the demonic orb. However, the demonic orb was a high-level magic treasure. Once it encountered danger, it would counterattack. When the demonic orb counterattacked, it was enough to stall the opponent's ancient weapon. The evil blade slashed over, but it was held back by the demonic bead. Clang, clang, clang. The evil blade slashed at the demonic bead many times, but it was unable to destroy it. In the end, both sides stopped fighting. This was because if the battle continued, both sides would suffer great losses. After Lin Feng annihilated more than a dozen royal families and royal families of the myriad races, the fury in his heart had also subsided significantly. Meanwhile, Lin Feng and the myriad races of the Sacred War Alliance began negotiations in the Heavenly Blood region. During this negotiation, both parties signed the Heavenly Blood Agreement. The terms of the Heavenly Blood Agreement were as follows. 1. The Sacred War Alliance must compensate Lin Feng with 100 million immortal stones. 2. The Sacred War Alliance will compensate Lin Feng with 10,000 immortal herbs. 3. The Sacred War Alliance will compensate Lin Feng with 30,000 sets of various insect materials. These insect materials were used to cultivate the Emperor Archaic Ancestral Insect, Desolate Demon Refining Insect Queen, and Celestial Devouring Insect Queen. 4. The Sacred War Alliance will give Lin Feng the 8 regions closest to the Foggy Sea domain. To the Sacred War Alliance, this agreement was simply a humiliating agreement. Many forces were unable to accept it and were on the verge of collapse. Once they signed it, it would be a great humiliation. But in the end, they still signed this agreement. Because they had no choice but to sign it. As the saying goes, those who are barefoot are not afraid of those who are wearing shoes. Lin Feng was powerful and had many experts under him. Moreover, Lin Feng was not from the Heavenly Sage Great World. It could be said that he had no scruples in the Heavenly Sage Great World. If he really went crazy and attacked the forces of the Sacred War Alliance, even if the Sacred War Alliance could heavily injure or even kill Lin Feng with their ancient weapons, many forces of the Sacred War Alliance would probably be destroyed. Therefore, in the end, the Sacred War Alliance signed this humiliating agreement. Lin Feng's forces increased greatly. Therefore, more and more cultivators came to join Lin Feng. Lin Feng established the sovereign empire. Next, Lin Feng supported the Great Dream Empress to become the first ruler of the sovereign empire, just like when he supported Madame Qi in the Tianwu continent. As for the Great Dream Empress, she was both Lin Feng's subordinate and Lin Feng's woman. She was strong enough and was loyal to Lin Feng. Letting the Great Dream Empress become the first ruler of the sovereign empire, Lin Feng was very assured. After the establishment of the sovereign empire, the 8 regions controlled by the sovereign empire were connected to form a vast and boundless territory. Within the borders of the sovereign empire, temples began to be built. When Lin Feng broke through to the Great Emperor realm, he almost failed. Fortunately, Lin Feng had built many temples back then. A large amount of faith power poured in to help Lin Feng complete his breakthrough. Therefore, Lin Feng was very interested in building a godly temple. Many forces had heard of this matter. Countless people were discussing this matter. After the era of self-titled gods ended, there were very few temples in the world. In fact, such things were no longer popular in the world. Because even if faith power was produced, cultivators did not have a way to absorb it. Therefore, building temples was simply a waste of time and energy. Many people felt that Lin Feng was fond of grandiose achievements, but there were also people who suspected that Lin Feng had a way to absorb faith power. Was that why he built temples? There were all kinds of guesses. At this time, Lin Feng left the heavenly sage great world. This time, he had experienced a lot in the heavenly sage great world. Lin Feng was also very satisfied with the trip to the heavenly sage great world. In the heavenly sage great world, Lin Feng's cultivation had increased greatly. Moreover, Lin Feng had established his own force in the heavenly sage great world. Building his own temple would be a great help to him in the future. In the starry sky world, Lin Feng sat cross-legged in the ancient starship Xinyuan. Bibi was playing with the 1-meter-long, three-headed viper beside him. This time, Lin Feng only brought the three-headed viper with him. The rest stayed in the heavenly sage great world. Lin Feng asked them to consolidate the strength of the sovereign empire. If possible, they should continue to expand the strength of the sovereign empire. The three-headed viper originally did not want to become so small. Creatures with large bodies generally did not like to be too small. This was a psychological factor at work. However, Bibi was really powerful. She waved her claws and taught the three-headed viper a lesson. The three-headed viper immediately shrunk its body obediently. After seeing Bibi's strength, Lin Feng was actually extremely shocked. Because, after all, Bibi was still in her infancy stage. Now, even the three-headed viper was not a match for Bibi. This was too heaven-defying. People could not help but be shocked. On this day, Lin Feng saw a huge fleet appear in the starry sky world. The size of the fleet was extremely huge. There were more than 1,000 warships. Lin Feng looked at the flag of the warships and frowned. This was because the words on the flag were actually the divine language of the era of conferred gods. This made Lin Feng puzzled. Why were there still people using the divine language of the era of conferred gods as the common language? Chapter 4075. The ancient starship Xinyuan sped up and quickly approached the huge fleet. Soon, the ancient starship Xinyuan arrived next to the fleet. Lin Feng noticed something strange. Logically speaking, the ancient starship Xinyuan should be close to such a huge fleet. The cultivators on the ship should have warned him. They should have given him a warning. However, the cultivators on the ship did not appear, let alone give him a warning. This made Lin Feng feel very strange. Could it be that there's no one on the ship? Lin Feng thought of a possibility. There was no one on the ship, was that right? If so, it would be too inconceivable. After all, how could there be no one on such a huge ship? The person who could build such a huge fleet was definitely not a simple person. Demon Lord. What do the ancient characters on the flag mean? Lin Feng asked. Fleet of the gods. The Demon Lord said. Fleet of gods? Lin Feng's face revealed an extremely strange expression. These 4 words were really extraordinary, especially the 2 words gods, which made people feel deep veneration. I really don't understand. Why are the characters on the flag of the fleet from the era of conferred gods? Could this huge fleet be passed down from the era of conferred gods? Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. The era of conferred gods was the most prosperous era of cultivation, but it was also the most chaotic era. Experts were as common as trees in the forest, and wars were endless. Many dazzling great eras streaked across the sky, but many of them had already disappeared from people's memories. Perhaps no one knew what had happened in those eras. Only through the ancient writings could one understand some of the things that had happened in the past. Characters were the inheritance of culture and history. Lin Feng planned to board the ancient starships and see what was on them. He wanted to see if there were any living beings on them. He wanted to see if they were really passed down from the era of conferred gods. Yaya. shouted Bei Bei. He was baring his fangs and brandishing his claws. He kept jumping in front of Lin Feng. Bibi was very worried because it felt that the starships were very dangerous. This was an instinctive reaction of Bibi. The stronger the spirit beast, the more sensitive this feeling was. Therefore, Bibi didn't want Lin Feng to go there. However, in the face of such a huge and mysterious fleet, how could Lin Feng leave so calmly? Anyone who saw such a fleet would probably want to explore it, right? Lin Feng rubbed Bibi's little head and said with a smile, "Don't worry, just wait here for me." "Yeah," cried out Lin Feng, and finally jumped onto Lin Feng's shoulder. Just now, the little fellow had said that it wanted to share blessings and hardships. It wanted to follow Lin Feng to board the starship. Lin Feng let the three-headed viper stay on the ancient starship, guarding it. Then, Lin Feng and Bibi flew towards the nearest ancient starship. They boarded the ancient starship. Ancient starships sailing in the starry sky world should have defensive restrictions. However, this ancient starship didn't have any. Perhaps because of the long passage of time, the restrictions or array formations here had been completely obliterated. The ancient starship was very quiet, without any sound. Lin Feng looked into the cabin but couldn't see anything. Bibi stood on Lin Feng's shoulder and also looked into the cabin. Lin Feng cautiously walked towards the cabin. Soon, he arrived at the cabin. There was nothing inside. Lin Feng even checked many rooms. These rooms were neatly cleaned and spotless. This made Lin Feng very confused. If it was really an ancient starship, it should have been covered with dust by now. However, this place looked like it had just been cleaned. Lin Feng checked the entire starship and didn't see anyone or any traces of fighting. However, there was no one on the ship. Not a single clue was left behind. Logically speaking, this shouldn't be the case. This is the kitchen. Lin Feng looked at a room in surprise. He pushed the door and entered the kitchen. Many cultivators paid attention to their diet. Therefore, many people didn't eat meat or grains. If they wanted to replenish their energy, they would eat some spirit fruits. After Lin Feng entered the kitchen, he saw many spirit fruits placed here. Many of them were of extremely high grade. Lin Feng couldn't help but be puzzled after seeing the spirit fruits. This was because he found something strange. Logically speaking, after such a long time, the spirit fruits should have rotted long ago. However, the spirit fruits here were incomparably fresh. Some of them even had water droplets on them, as if they had just been washed. Bibi reached out and grabbed a spirit fruit. She opened her mouth and was about to bite it. However, Lin Feng stopped her. "Don't eat the food here." "It's strange," Lin Feng said. Bibi was psychic. When she heard Lin Feng's words, she quickly nodded and put the spirit fruit back. Lin Feng saw that there was wine boiling on the table. However, the charcoal fire had been extinguished. He walked over and touched the vessel used to boil the wine. Lin Feng was even more surprised because the vessel used to boil the wine was still warm. He put his hand in and felt the wine in the vessel. Although the wine was no longer smoking, it was still warm. He was shocked, moved, and in disbelief. The spirit fruits were fresh, and the wine was warm. This meant that there should have been people here not long ago. However, where did those people go? There was another point that Lin Feng was extremely puzzled. If there were people here not long ago, why did they use such ancient characters to write the battleship's flag? Everything was strange. Lin Feng decided to go to the other ancient battleships to take a look. Lin Feng went to the second ancient battleship. After inspecting it, he found that the situation of the second ancient battleship was exactly the same as the first one. There was no one here. There was not a speck of dust. There were washed spirit fruits and warm wine. It was as if everyone had suddenly disappeared before dinner. What's going on? What's going on here? Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. He checked dozens of ancient battleships, and the situation was exactly the same. However, Lin Feng didn't find any clues. "Demon Lord, what do you think?" Lin Feng transmitted his voice and asked. "I thought of an ancient legend I heard in the past." Chapter 4076. Lin Feng asked curiously, "What legend?" The Demon Lord said, "Legend has it that during the mythological era, there was an almost invincible fleet. This fleet sailed through the starry sky, and they always wanted to find a way out. The mythological era? What era is this? A way out? Where to? Lin Feng asked, puzzled. The demon lord's words made him even more puzzled. The demon lord said, the mythological era was one of the last eras of the era of the titled gods, but it's hard to say exactly which era it was. At that time, the heavens were already in chaos, and many powers had a premonition that a great calamity was coming. Thus, many powers formed an invincible fleet. This invincible fleet was looking for a way to enter the outerverse. Our starry sky world is divided into the Eastern universe and the Western universe. You should know this, and the world where the otherworldly creatures live is the outerverse. Lin Feng nodded. He had some understanding of this as well. The otherworldly creatures did not belong to this universe, but rather came from the outerverse. Lin Feng asked, they know that they can't resist the great calamity, so they want to find a way out? To bring their people out of this universe? Yao Jun nodded and said, that's right. Actually, something like this has happened in the past. According to some living beings from the lost races of different eras, there were people who had successfully found a way to enter the outerverse in their eras. After that, they escaped from this universe and didn't suffer the destruction of their eras. Lin Feng said, why go through so much trouble to find the outerverse? Just capture some of the otherworldly creatures and have them lead the way. The demon lord said, it's not that simple. Do you know the origins of the otherworldly creatures that come to our universe? Lin Feng shook his head. He was not too clear on this point. The only thing he knew was that the otherworldly creatures that came to their universe were extremely terrifying existences. The demon lord said, the otherworldly creatures that come to our universe have the following origins. The first origin is that these otherworldly creatures are all sinners that were exiled from their universe. Because they were exiled beings, they didn't know the way back. The second type is the foreign life forms that accidentally entered our universe by mistake. This group of foreign life forms came to this universe after a narrow escape, and they are unable to find their way back. The third type is the foreign world forces searching for creatures in other universes. This group of people may have accidentally found a universe crack and then entered this universe. However, the universe crack is repaired by the laws of space and time, so it will soon disappear. After they pass through the universe crack, they may not know that they have arrived in another universe. Once they know, they will return to the distance. It will be impossible for them to return to their original universe through the universe crack. So, he wanted those foreign creatures to lead the way. This is extremely unrealistic. When he heard this, Lin Feng nodded solemnly and said, if that's the case, then wouldn't it be futile for those people to search for a way to travel to the outerverse? The demon lord said, no. It's like there's a space node between spaces. If you can find a space node, you'll be able to freely travel back and forth between the space nodes. That way, you can enter different spaces. The universe is the same. Different universes, you can travel back and forth through space nodes. Lin Feng asked, what happened after that? What happened to that invincible fleet? The demon lord said, that invincible fleet disappeared without a trace. In the first few years, those forces were pleasantly surprised because they unanimously believed that the invincible fleet might have found a way to enter the outerverse. Thus, they entered the outerverse to investigate the outerverse situation. Once they found out about the outerverse situation, they would probably return to pick them up and leave. However, after waiting for many years, that invincible fleet never appeared again. It was only then that everyone completely gave up. They no longer harbored any hope. Some people believed that the invincible fleet no longer cared about the lives of their people after entering the outerverse. Some people believed that the invincible fleet had met with a disaster. But no matter what, that invincible fleet never appeared again. This is an indisputable fact. Later on, fewer and fewer people knew about that invincible fleet, especially after the tragic war that broke out at the end of the era of the titled gods. Too many secrets have been buried by the river of time. Lin Feng asked, do you think that the fleet we saw was the fleet of the titled gods? The demon lord nodded and said, I think that is indeed the case. That, Lin Feng's expression became uncertain. The invincible fleet that had disappeared since the mythological era had suddenly reappeared. What did this mean? Just thinking about it made Lin Feng's hair stand on end. Furthermore, this fleet was filled with oddities. Lin Feng said, but I have many doubts. First, why did this fleet disappear for such a long time and then suddenly reappear? Second, why did the spirit fruits in the kitchen look freshly washed? Why was the wine in the utensils still warm? If they had met with a disaster during the mythological era, then those things should have rotted a long time ago. Third, there are no signs of a battle here. Since you said that this was an invincible fleet formed by titled gods, that means that this fleet was extremely terrifying. Even if they had met with a disaster, they couldn't have not put up any resistance, right? Lin Feng's 3 questions were filled with many doubts. The demon lord remained silent for a long time, as if pondering over Lin Feng's questions. After a long time, the demon lord said, Your first question can be analyzed in 2 ways. This fleet might have disappeared, or it might not have. If it had disappeared, it might have reappeared. It might have disappeared in another universe and only recently returned to this one. If it hadn't disappeared, then it might have stopped somewhere and returned to the starry sky after countless years. Lin Feng frowned slightly. The demon lord's words were not without reason. Yao Jun continued, Your second question is indeed very difficult to answer. Moreover, this situation is extremely strange. However, I've heard of another strange matter before. Perhaps it can explain what we're seeing right now. Chapter 4077. Similar. Very similar. The demon lord nodded solemnly and said, Rumor has it that someone discovered some ancient ships sailing in the starry sky world. However, when they entered the ancient ships, they found that there was no one inside. However, it was said that some of the food inside the ancient ships were still steaming hot. Lin Feng's face was full of shock and uncertainty. The situation that the demon lord described was almost exactly the same as what they were currently experiencing. What did this mean? The demon lord said, In this world, there are some things that cannot be explained. Perhaps there are things that we can't imagine hidden behind them. Lin Feng nodded. This world was filled with too many mysterious things. Not everything could be explained with words. Many things were still shrouded in fog in the end. They were full of the unknown and confusing. Lin Feng decided to take a look at the other ancient warships. Perhaps he could find something. Although this huge fleet looked lifeless and did not seem to have any clues, Lin Feng was not a person who would give up easily. Lin Feng continued to search the ancient warships. However, he did not find anything particularly valuable. Perhaps only the spirit fruits were of extraordinary value. However, when Lin Feng tried to take the spirit fruits out of the cabin, the spirit fruits quickly rotted. It was extremely strange. The entire fleet seems to be cursed. Could it be that this fleet is cursed? Lin Feng could not help but mutter to himself. This feeling was extremely strong. This huge fleet seemed to be cursed by someone. However, Lin Feng did not find the power of the curse. This was the most strange thing. Lin Feng searched more than 1,000 ancient warships. However, he did not find anything. There was no one on these ancient warships. There were no clues. Even a corpse would be good. Squeak, squeak. Bibi cried out. Then, it stretched out its little paw and pointed at the last ancient warship. This ancient warship was 3,000 meters tall and nearly 10,000 meters long. This ancient warship was the largest among all the warships. Judging from this ancient warship, it should be the main ship of the invincible fleet. Lin Feng boarded the main ship. In the void, death ripples swept out and shrouded Lin Feng. Lin Feng was startled. The power of those death ripples was extremely strong and strange. If he was hit, his life would be instantly taken away. There's a grand formation here. A death grand formation. Lin Feng was astonished. The restrictions on the ancient warships were basically destroyed. Only the restrictions on the ancient warship remained intact. Perhaps it was because the main ship's restrictions were too powerful, so even after countless years, The restrictions here were still not completely destroyed. It was very difficult for these restrictions to harm Lin Feng. Lin Feng used the formation splitting technique to destroy the restriction here, and then the death energy gradually dissipated. Lin Feng walked inside. Lin Feng began to search the main ship. Soon, Lin Feng discovered that the situation of the main ship was similar to the other ancient warships. There were no signs of battle here. There were no clues left behind. There were also freshly washed spirit fruits here. There was also warm wine here. Everything was so familiar. The captain's room. Lin Feng looked at a room that appeared in front of him. This should be the place where the captain of the invincible fleet lived in the past. He pushed open the door of the captain's room. Then, he entered. The captain's room was huge. It was at least a few hundred square meters. There were some books placed here. Lin Feng was startled. There were books here? He wondered what the books contained. Lin Feng walked over and opened a book. But soon, Lin Feng couldn't help but sigh. The book had already decayed. He couldn't peek at its contents. Lin Feng saw some scrolls. He opened the scrolls and found that they had also decayed. These are all scrolls and books made of special materials. They can be preserved for many years. However, these books and scrolls couldn't be preserved. The power of time eroded and destroyed these things. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. Now, he could completely confirm that this fleet was indeed incomparably ancient. That's... Suddenly, Lin Feng's eyes searched intensely. There was a scroll on the table. There were words on the scroll. This made Lin Feng extremely surprised. The books and scrolls on the bookshelf had already been corroded by time. There were no clues. However, there were still words on the scroll on the table. Perhaps he could find some clues. He quickly walked over. This scroll was made of a very special kind of silk. It was not the same as other scrolls. The reason why this scroll could be preserved might be because of this. There were indeed some words on this scroll. However, many of the words were already very blurry and couldn't be seen clearly. However, it was intermittent. There were still some words that could be vaguely recognized. Demon Lord, what do these ancient words mean? Lin Feng asked. Swoosh. There was a flash of light. The Demon Lord flew out. He stood in front of the table and observed the ancient words. We have arrived at a very special place. The magnetic field here is very strong. We can see. The Demon Lord began to translate the ancient words. When he reached this point, the Demon Lord stopped and frowned. What did they see? Lin Feng asked doubtfully. The Demon Lord said, a lot of content is missing at the back. Lin Feng immediately howled in grief. The most important content was actually missing. Wasn't this the rhythm of a scam? The Demon Lord continued reading. We went all the way, hoping to find the node of the universe. But we felt as if some terrifying existence was watching us. We decided to stop and think of a way to find that terrifying existence. Hearing this, Lin Feng's expression suddenly shook. What kind of terrifying existence was targeting them? Was the disappearance of the gods related to that terrifying existence that was watching them? On the night of the full moon, we set up a trap. It finally appeared. We lost more than 10 experts, but we finally caught it. We discovered that it was actually... At this point, the Demon Lord stopped again. What was that terrifying existence that we caught? Lin Feng asked impatiently. That's it. The content ends here. The rest of the words can't be seen clearly. The Demon Lord said. Chapter 4078. Lin Feng furrowed his brows. He couldn't make out the rest of the information. All the clues had been cut off. What was the meaning of the captured entity? Was the fall of the gods directly related to the existence that had been captured? Lin Feng wondered. Perhaps there really was a connection, but he needed to find proof. What do you think of this? Lin Feng looked at the Demon Lord, hoping to find some answers from the Demon Lord. Yao Jun said, let's look around this flagship. I have a feeling that something is wrong, but I can't tell exactly what it is. Perhaps we'll find something after searching for a while. With that, the Demon Lord returned to the Demon Pearl. Lin Feng's eyes lit up. What if it was as the Demon Lord had said? It was really exciting. Perhaps he might be able to find out why the gods in the invincible fleet had disappeared. Lin Feng continued searching the main ship, but even after searching all the rooms, he still didn't find anything. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. The fact that he couldn't find anything meant that there were too many problems. Could the Demon Lord's judgment be wrong? Lin Feng didn't think that the Demon Lord's judgment would be wrong. Search carefully. See if there are any hidden compartments, secret rooms, or similar places. The Demon Lord said. Lin Feng nodded and released his divine sense. Checking with his godly awareness was a better choice, but Lin Feng was annoyed because when he checked with his godly awareness, he found nothing. He still didn't find anything. Lin Feng squatted down. He planned to use the innate 8 trigrams to make some calculations. After some calculations, Lin Feng stood up and quickly walked to the front of the ship. Lin Feng used the innate 8 trigrams 9 palaces arithmetic to deduce 8 words. These 8 words were, dragon soars to the 9 heavens, dragon head gazes at the heavens. It was because of these 8 words that Lin Feng came to the front of the ship. The entire ship. In the hexagram, it represented dragon. Dragon soars to the 9 heavens. It meant that the ancient warship would roam the starry world. As for the dragon head gazing at the heavens, it should be referring to the ship's front. Gazing at the heavens should be referring to the starry world. Lin Feng carefully searched the ship's front. Lin Feng frowned. This wasn't what he had expected. He had thought that there would be something mysterious about this place. If it's not at the bow, could it be at the stern? Whispered Lin Feng. Lin Feng went to the back of the boat. When he arrived there, Lin Feng had a strange feeling. He always felt that this place was somewhat oppressive. Bei's perception was extremely powerful. Her sense of danger far surpassed Lin Feng's. Lin Feng was very clear about this. Lin Feng felt that there might be another mystery here. Lin Feng pried open the deck at the back of the ship. Then, he found a groove at the back of the ship. There was a big box in the groove. Damn, I really found something. What's in this big box? Could it be that it was some kind of incredible treasure? Or perhaps it's a scripture that contains some shocking secrets. Lin Feng couldn't help but talk to himself. He felt that opening this big box would definitely give him something. He might even be able to find out the truth about the disappearance of the gods in this invincible fleet. Lin Feng moved the big box out of the groove. The big box was covered with runes. Even though countless years had passed, the runes were still very powerful. He didn't know who had set up the runes. Lin Feng guessed that it might be the runes set up by the spirit array master of this fleet in the past. But there was one thing that Lin Feng didn't understand. Why? Back then, when those people wanted to put this big box in the groove, was there a need to be so careful? Lin Feng tried to decipher the runes on the big box, but it wasn't an easy task. Even though countless years had passed, even though the power of those runes couldn't be compared to the past, but the runes on the big box were still very powerful. It was still extremely powerful. Lin Feng spent a few days to find a way to break the talisman. It took another few days to decipher the runes on the big box. Lin Feng opened the big box. He saw that there were 3 things in the big box. One was a golden bell. One was a scroll. One was an ancient bronze lamp. Lin Feng opened the scroll and found that the words on it had long been blurred. The scroll had been eroded by the power of time. Then, Lin Feng picked up the golden bell. Then, it shook. Ding ding dang dang. A clear and melodious sound came from the golden bell. At this moment, the flame of the ancient bronze lamp lit up on its own. This scene shocked Lin Feng. Lin Feng got up and quickly regretted it. Then, he frowned and looked at the ancient bronze lamp. Hee hee hee. A sinister voice came from the inside of the ancient bronze lamp. That voice sounded too terrifying. Lin Feng couldn't help but have a creepy feeling. I want to come out. I want to come out. I want to come out. The existence in the ancient bronze lamp roared, and a large amount of demonic energy gushed out from the ancient bronze lamp. The existence trapped in the ancient bronze lamp wanted to rush out. But that horrifying existence tried many times, but to no avail. Lin Feng rushed up and used a sealing technique. He wanted to add a seal to the ancient bronze lamp and seal that existence completely. If that horrifying existence were to break out, he didn't know if he would be in trouble. Lin Feng couldn't care less about what kind of existence the existence in the ancient bronze lamp was. His priority was to seal that fella first. Lad, you want to seal yours truly? You're still far from it. Break for me. The existence in the ancient bronze lamp roared and punched out at the seal of the ancient bronze lamp. He was originally sealed within the ancient bronze lamp. It was just that the seal within the ancient bronze lamp had weakened tremendously by now. Therefore, this existence saw the hope of breaking out. Crack, crack. Cracking sounds could be heard as the seal within the ancient bronze lamp began to crack. Lin Feng's face changed. Crack, crack. That horrifying existence was still attacking the seal within the ancient bronze lamp. Finally, the seal within the ancient bronze lamp was destroyed. Following that horrifying existence destroyed the seal that Lin Feng had set up. Chapter 4079. Lin Feng quickly retreated as soon as the demonic aura spread out. He sensed danger. The existence inside the ancient lamp was definitely a terrifying existence, and he was definitely not a kind person. He had to be on guard against that existence. The ancient lamp floated in midair, and a figure appeared inside the demonic aura. It was a man shrouded in darkness. Only a pair of pale green eyes could be seen, and his appearance was impossible to see. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown when he saw this terrifying existence. This terrifying existence was like a ghost that had walked out of hell. "You're from the Nether Race?" Lin Feng asked. "Kikik." The terrifying existence laughed sinisterly and said, "That's right. I'm from the Nether Race, and I'm a cultivator from the Nether Race." The Nether Race was a branch of the Nether Race, and they were the royal race of the Nether Realm. It was said that the Nether Race controlled a large area of the Nether Realm and established their own ancient kingdom. Back then, the gods were targeted by a terrifying existence. Were you the one who targeted the gods? Lin Feng narrowed his eyes at the Nether Race cultivator. The Nether Race cultivator sneered. "Are you talking about the group of people on this fleet?" "Yes, that's them," Lin Feng said. The Netherworld Race cultivator said sinisterly, "That's right. I did have my eyes on them back then. These people barged into the endless magnetic sea, and I'm the ruler of the endless magnetic sea. What's wrong with me targeting these blind fellows?" The Nether Race cultivator said sinisterly, "They are sailing in the starry sky world, and you are a creature of the Nether Realm. This endless magnetic sea should be a place in the starry sky world that contains a powerful magnetic field, right? Why did you come to the endless magnetic sea instead of staying in the Nether Realm?" Lin Feng asked curiously. The Nether Race cultivator sneered. "What's wrong with me going to the endless magnetic sea? It's none of your business." Lin Feng smiled bitterly. This matter really had nothing to do with him. Of course, Lin Feng wasn't very interested in why the Netherworld Race cultivators would go to the endless magnetic sea. It was just a casual question. What Lin Feng was really interested in was what had happened between that guy and the gods. On the scroll, it was written that in order to suppress that terrifying existence, they had lost more than 10 experts. Was the existence they suppressed this guy in front of them? A great battle broke out between the two of you. More than 10 of them died before they managed to suppress you, Lin Feng said. The Netherworld creature frowned and asked, "How do you know about this?" After hearing the Netherworld Race cultivator's answer, Lin Feng was now certain. More than a dozen experts of the gods had died, and the existence that had been suppressed was indeed a cultivator of the Netherworld Race. The gods sealed the Netherworld Race cultivator in the ancient bronze lamp, but later on, for some unknown reason, the gods disappeared without a trace. Lin Feng said, "I saw some words on a scroll. These words describe the past." "So I guessed. You were the existence suppressed by the gods. I originally thought that the disappearance of the gods had something to do with you, but now it seems that I was wrong. The disappearance of the gods has nothing to do with you. Do you know how the gods disappeared?" The Netherworld Race cultivator asked in astonishment. The gods disappeared? Could it be that they were killed by others while they were traveling through space? Serves them right. The Netherworld Race cultivator had been suppressed by the gods. It seemed that he had a deep grudge against them. "You're the one who released me. Tell me, how should I thank you?" The Netherworld Race cultivator said sinisterly. Cough, cough. Lin Feng coughed dryly. When he saw that this guy was about to break free, Lin Feng had tried to seal him again. However, he hadn't succeeded. "There's no need to thank me. Let's just go our separate ways," Lin Feng said. He had a feeling that this guy wasn't a kind person. This was especially so since this guy had been sealed for so many years. Now that he was free, he must have a deep grudge in his heart. It was better to stay away from this guy. Lin Feng turned around and flew outside. This fleet was full of secrets. In Lin Feng's opinion, those secrets were destined to be unraveled. Since that was the case, it was better to leave as soon as possible. "Kid, don't be in such a hurry to leave. It's fate that we met. I've always repaid kindness with kindness and revenge with revenge. You've done me a great favor by letting me out. If not for you, I might have been sealed in the ancient lamp. To repay you, I've decided to eat you," said the terrifying existence. Then, he leaped up and pounced on Lin Feng. Endless demonic chi surged out of his body. The aura of this existence was suffocating. "Die!" shouted Lin Feng furiously. He took out his Hell King bell. Dong, dong, dong. Lin Feng activated the bell of hell, and it vibrated with a terrifying might that could destroy heaven and earth. The bell of hell was a supreme treasure. It was extremely unique. Once it was activated, its power was unimaginable. The most powerful thing about it was that it could suppress the creatures of the netherworld. The bell of hell was the nemesis of the creatures of the netherworld. Bang, bang, bang. The terrifying power of the netherworld king bell directly bombarded the body of this netherworld race creature. However, what was shocking was that the bell of hell was unable to cause any harm to him. Damn, what's going on? Seeing this scene, Lin Feng was completely dumbfounded. He thought, even if the Hell King's bell couldn't suppress this terrifying existence, it should at least be able to pose a threat to it, right? However, things did not go as he wished. "Oh, it's the supreme treasure of the netherworld, the Bell of Hell. This supreme treasure actually fell into your hands. It's a pity that your cultivation is limited. You can't even release a millionth of the power of this supreme treasure. This supreme treasure falling into your hands is like a bright pearl fighting in the dark. It seems like this supreme treasure will belong to me," said the netherworld creature in a sinister voice. The reason why the Bell of Hell was unable to do anything to him was mainly because this fellow's combat power was too strong. So strong that he could ignore the attack released by the Bell of Hell. This terrifying existence slapped a palm toward Lin Feng. A huge energy palm condensed in the void. That energy palm enveloped Lin Feng. When he felt the aura of that energy palm, Lin Feng's face turned pale. Terrifying, terrifying, terrifying. This existence was really too terrifying. Even if this netherworld creature had been sealed for countless years, it still had the strength of an immortal. It was hard to imagine how terrifying this existence was when it was at its peak. Chapter 4080. The combat strength displayed by the netherworld race cultivator was simply despairing, but Lin Feng's reputation was not undeserved. In the face of the netherworld race cultivator's attack, Lin Feng used the heaven patching technique to borrow another opportunity from the heavens. Whoosh! There was a flash of light, and Lin Feng disappeared from where he stood. The attack of the netherworld clan cultivator hit nothing but air. Lin Feng appeared 300 meters away and quickly flew in the direction of the ancient starship Xianyuan. The netherworld race cultivator was simply too terrifying, so Lin Feng had no intention of fighting to the death with the netherworld race cultivator. This was because that was purely an act of seeking death. Seeing Lin Feng escape, the netherworld race cultivator sneered and said, "Kid, do you think you can escape? You're too naive." The netherworld race cultivator quickly chased after Lin Feng. Lin Feng's speed was fast enough, like a bolt of lightning. However, the netherworld race cultivator was also very fast. After all, his cultivation realm was simply too high, and the distance between the two sides was gradually closing. The netherworld race cultivator said sinisterly, "Kid, it's really shocking that you can have such speed with your cultivation. Unfortunately, you met me today. No matter how fast you are, I'm afraid you won't be able to escape death today." As soon as he finished speaking, the netherworld race cultivator sped up again. This guy seemed to be very good at speed. The distance between the two sides was getting closer and closer. This situation was naturally extremely bad. If the Netherworld race cultivator caught up to him, it would definitely be a disaster for Lin Feng. Lin Feng's face was very gloomy. He lowered his head and looked at the bell in his hand. Then, Lin Feng revealed a puzzled expression. This bell was placed together with the ancient lamp. What was the use of this bell? Lin Feng held the bell and shook it. Ding ding dang dang. Suddenly, the bell rang, and a series of crisp clanging sounds were heard. When the Netherworld race cultivator heard the clanging of the bell, a pained expression immediately appeared on his face. "Kid, stop right there," he roared furiously. His pair of pale green eyes were filled with dense killing intent. He wanted nothing more than to tear Lin Feng into pieces. After seeing this guy's expression, Lin Feng was shocked. However, this bell really had a miraculous effect. It was very lethal to the Netherworld race cultivator. He did not know what extraordinary origin this bell had, but it actually injured the cultivator's soul. Lin Feng said, "Hurry up and leave. I naturally won't shake this bell. If you don't know what's good for you, of course, I won't stop." When Lin Feng finished talking, he started shaking again. The bells started ringing again. It was so loud that even the apathetic could hear them. The expression on the Netherworld race cultivator's face became more and more pained. The damage caused by the bell was too great. After seeing the Netherworld race cultivator's pained expression, Lin Feng sneered and continued to shake the bell in his hand. The Netherworld race cultivator roared again and again. In the end, he could no longer bear it and quickly flew away. After seeing the Netherworld race cultivator leave, Lin Feng heaved a sigh of relief and quickly returned to the ancient starship Xianyuan. The ancient starship Xianyuan sailed away from the huge invincible fleet. Then, it flew along the ancient starry sky path to the undying realm. However, Lin Feng felt a stifling feeling in his heart. Bibi also looked a little restless. "He's in the dark." Lin Feng took a deep breath. That terrifying existence might not have left and was hiding in the dark, ready to attack at any time. That was why he felt so stifling. Bibi also felt very uneasy. Lin Feng even suspected that Guy had boarded the ancient starship Xianyuan. If that was the case, it would be an extremely terrifying matter. He had to find that guy. Otherwise, it would be very dangerous. Lin Feng's spiritual force began to search the ancient starship Xianyuan, but he found nothing. The Netherworld race cultivator's methods were too terrifying. If he wanted to hide, it would not be easy to trap him with his current strength. Set up a grand array to deal with him. Lin Feng's eyes flashed with killing intent. The grand array of the ancient starship Xianyuan was extremely powerful. Originally, only the Emperor Realm Grand Array had been awakened on the ancient starship Xianyuan. However, as Lin Feng's cultivation base continued to improve, the Grand Array on the ancient starship Xianyuan had become even more powerful. Now, the ancient starship Xianyuan had even awakened an immortal rune. Lin Feng intended to use the immortal rune and Emperor Realm Grand Array on the ancient starship Xianyuan, as well as some of the arrays he had set up to deal with that guy. Lin Feng asked Bibi and the three-headed viper to seal the ancient starship Xianyuan with their spiritual forces. Their spiritual forces had been constantly scanning the ancient starship Xianyuan. This was not to discover the Netherworld race cultivator, but to prevent the Netherworld race cultivator from using their spiritual forces to search the cabin. If the Netherworld race cultivator discovered the array he had set up, Lin Feng knew that his plan would be in vain. However, if Bibi and the three-headed viper kept searching the void with their spiritual forces, the Netherworld race cultivator would not dare to release his spiritual force. If he dared to release his spiritual force, Bibi and the three-headed viper's spiritual forces would sense it. At that time, that guy would have nowhere to hide. Lin Feng quickly set up 2 grand arrays inside the cabin. He set up 2 grand arrays, an 8 trigrams grand array and a destruction grand array. The 2 grand arrays were stacked together, coupled with the immortal rune and Emperor Realm grand array of the ancient starship Xianyuan, as well as the mysterious bell Lin Feng had grasped. Lin Feng believed that if the Netherworld race cultivator was trapped inside the grand array, he would lose a layer of skin, even if he didn't die. After setting up the grand array, Lin Feng could finally breathe a sigh of relief. He asked Bibi and the three-headed viper to withdraw their spiritual forces. Then, he asked Bibi and the three-headed viper to temporarily return to the space-time and let them act according to the circumstances. Lin Feng sat cross-legged in the middle of the cabin, waiting for the netherworld race cultivator to appear. There was a shadow under the ancient starship Xianyuan. That shadow was formed by the netherworld race cultivator. When he discovered that the spiritual force that shrouded the ancient starship Xianyuan had disappeared, the netherworld race cultivator revealed a sinister expression. After waiting for 6 hours, he quietly sneaked into the cabin. This guy was very patient. When he arrived outside the cabin, he merged with the darkness and looked inside. He immediately saw Lin Feng sitting cross-legged in the middle of the cabin. Chapter 4081. Formation. The netherworld race cultivator's expression darkened slightly. He was extremely angry. He had thought that Lin Feng's sneak attack would be done quietly, but who would have thought that he would be the one to fall into Lin Feng's formation? Have you walked right into my trap? Lin Feng said indifferently. Brat, do you think you can trap me just because you've set up a great formation? Truly laughable to the extreme. These grand formations of yours aren't worth mentioning at all in my opinion, the netherworld race cultivator said coldly. He locked onto Lin Feng and quickly pounced on Lin Feng. However, Lin Feng had already retreated from the great formation in time. At the same time, Lin Feng activated the immortal runes and emperor formation of the ancient starship Xianyuan. The immortal rune directly blasted toward the netherworld race cultivator. The netherworld race cultivator's expression changed slightly when he felt the powerful might of the immortal rune. The netherworld race cultivator raised his right hand and blasted toward the immortal rune. With a loud bang, the cultivator from the netherworld race clashed with the immortal rune, blocking its attack. This guy's strength was indeed strong. Even the immortal rune could not cause him any harm. Lin Feng activated many emperor formations, 8 trigrams formation, and destruction formation. All kinds of powerful attacks blasted toward the netherworld race cultivator. Netherworld's sacred rune. Protect my true body. The netherworld race cultivator could not help but shout in the face of so many attacks. Then, dense runes appeared on the surface of his body. These runes were all black and exuded an extremely terrifying aura. These black runes contained unimaginable power. When the various attacks landed on his body, they were all blocked by the runes. F***CK. This guy is so strong. Lin Feng's expression suddenly darkened. However, Lin Feng was mentally prepared for this situation. Therefore, he could accept this situation. Lin Feng took out the mysterious bell and began to shake it. Ding ding dang dang. Ding ding dang dang. Ding ding dang dang. A series of crisp sounds of collision rang out. The sound was extremely pleasing to the ears. However, in the ears of the netherworld race cultivators, this voice sounded like it was demanding their lives. Ah, he screamed again. Brat, put down the bell if you dare. I'll teach you how to behave in a matter of minutes. The netherworld race cultivator roared furiously. Lin Feng curled his lips and said, Are you crazy? Since I have this bell, why don't I use it? Not only did Lin Feng not stop, but he also increased the speed of shaking the bell. The netherworld race cultivator suffered great pain. He continued to roar and roar, then began to attack the formation, wanting to rush out of the cabin. He knew that Lin Feng had plotted against him. Now, it was simply impossible for him to kill Lin Feng. The fact that he could escape from Lin Feng's clutches was already quite good. The impact of a netherworld race cultivator was very strong. After tearing apart the formation, he quickly rushed out of the ancient starship Xianyuan and quickly fled, disappearing without a trace. What a pity! Seeing the netherworld race cultivator escape, Lin Feng felt that it was a pity. However, the netherworld race cultivator was simply too powerful. It wasn't strange for him to be able to escape from his grasp. The mysterious bell had caused a lot of damage to the netherworld race cultivator's soul. Lin Feng was quite confident about this. That oppressive feeling had disappeared. The netherworld race cultivator should have left. The ancient starship Xianyuan quickly flew along the ancient starry sky path. Several thousand meters away, the netherworld race cultivator hovered in the starry sky world, looking at the ancient starship Xianyuan with a gloomy expression. Brat, you took something you shouldn't have. You can't escape. When I recover, it will be your death. Naturally, Lin Feng could not hear this fellow's voice. He sat cross-legged in the cabin and carefully studied the mysterious bell. That mysterious bell was too extraordinary. Previously, because of the netherworld race cultivator, he had not been able to calm down and properly study what kind of treasure it was. Now, he finally had the time to carefully study the origin of that treasure. The mysterious bell's surface was densely covered with mysterious runes. Lin Feng discovered that these runes were a type of runes he had never seen before. He also did not know their origin. Lin Feng tried to use his magic power to refine this mysterious bell, but in the end, he failed. Then, he dripped a drop of blood on the bell. Lin Feng's blood was immediately absorbed by the mysterious bell. After the mysterious bell absorbed Lin Feng's blood, Lin Feng's expression changed. Lin Feng vaguely felt that his spiritual force and the mysterious bell seemed to produce a mysterious fusion. Ding ding dang dang. Ding ding dang dang. Ding ding dang dang. Lin Feng heard the shaking of the bell, but in reality, Lin Feng did not shake the bell. Lin Feng discovered that he had appeared in an ancient mountain. In the ancient mountain, there was a Taoist temple. The shaking sound of the bell came from the Taoist temple. Lin Feng entered the Taoist temple. The Taoist priests in the temple were not very big. There were only a dozen of them. In a room in the backyard, a bare-chested Taoist was forging a treasure. The treasure that the Taoist priest was forging was a bell. However, the bell that the Taoist priest had forged was very large. It was about the size of an ancient bell. However, the bell in Lin Feng's hand was very small. Lin Feng guessed that the bell that the Taoist priest had forged was the bell that he had obtained. That bell should be able to change its size. It was just that he had not grasped the knack of activating it. If he could find the knack of activating it at that time, he should be able to activate the power of this treasure. Those images quickly disappeared, and some information poured into Lin Feng's mind. The name of this weapon was the Six-Path Soul-Subduing Bell. In fact, treasures like the Soul-Subduing Bell were relatively common. Depending on the materials and craftsmanship, the power of a treasure like the soul-subduing bell would also vary. However, the soul-subduing bell that Lin Feng had obtained was called the Six-Path Soul-Subduing Bell. This name was too unusual, mainly because it involved the two words, six paths. Any treasures or abilities that were related to these two words were extremely extraordinary. The same went for the Six-Path Soul-Subduing Bell. Lin Feng put away the Six-Path Soul-Subduing Bell. Half a month later, Lin Feng saw a huge celestial domain. Some starry sky ancient ships flew towards that celestial domain one after another. From the looks of it, that celestial domain should have a planet with life. Lin Feng put away the Xianyuan starry sky ancient ship and also flew towards that celestial domain. Chapter 4082. Lin Feng quickly flew towards the star domain ahead. Along the way, he saw many cultivators. However, those cultivators were in groups. Very few cultivators were like Lin Feng, traveling through space alone. The main reason was because the outer realm was too dangerous. No one was willing to take the risk. Of course, if one was strong enough, then it would be a different situation. Perhaps they would be like Lin Feng, traveling through space alone. When Lin Feng neared the star domain, he discovered that there seemed to be more than 10 life planets. The life planet in the middle was the largest. The surrounding life planets revolved around the main planet in the middle. Most people were flying towards the main planet in the middle. However, there were also some people flying towards the surrounding life planets. Lin Feng made some inquiries and found out that this place was the Xin Domain Star Ocean. The main planet of the Xin Domain Star Ocean was called Star Xin Domain. As for the surrounding planets, each planet was occupied by a large power. Those major forces were all forces with extremely ancient legacies. Star Xin Domain did not belong to any single power. Instead, it was jointly controlled by the powers of the surrounding planets. Guanguan's mother's family, the Ning family, is here. After knowing that this place was the Xin Domain Star Ocean, Lin Feng thought of Guanguan. Guangguan was one of Lin Feng's favorite women. Demoness Guangguan. Beautiful, charming, passionate, bold. She was like the most deadly poison that attracted Lin Feng. Previously, Lin Feng and Guangguan met in the outer realm. Both of them were together for a period of time. Afterwards, Guangguan's mother wrote a letter saying that there was an urgent matter. She asked Guangguan to return. As for Guangguan, she hoped that when Lin Feng went to the Undying Realm in the future, he would stay in the Xin Domain Star Ocean for a period of time. While he was there, he wanted to meet her mother. Lin Feng naturally knew Guangguan's intention. Lin Feng had never forgotten about this matter. However, he did not expect that the star domain in front of him was the Xin Domain Star Ocean. Lin Feng planned to rest for a while before making some inquiries about the division of power in the Xin Domain Star Ocean. At the same time, he wanted to find out some basic information about the Ning family. After that, he would head to the Ning family. Lin Feng landed on planet Xin Domain. There are over 100 ancient cities in planet Xin Domain. Many of them are extremely lively. Lin Feng arrived at the ancient city at the center of planet Xin Domain. This was the largest ancient city on planet Xin Domain. People came and went, and it was extremely lively. This place had the busiest trading market and the largest auction house on planet Xin Domain. Therefore, the ancient city in the center had attracted countless cultivators traveling through the starry sky. Countless cultivators who traveled through space liked to trade in the central ancient city. For example, they would sell some treasures they obtained during their adventures that they didn't need, or they could buy some things that they needed. After Lin Feng arrived at the central ancient city, he first found an inn. They rented a courtyard in the inn. Lin Feng planned to have a good rest first. Not long after Lin Feng settled down, someone knocked on the door of Lin Feng's courtyard. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. Who's knocking on my door? He had just arrived here, and besides Guangguan, he did not know anyone else. Could it be that Guangguan had seen him? However, that didn't seem right. When Guangguan saw him, she had already called out to him. With doubt in his heart, Lin Feng went outside and opened the door. He saw a young-looking cultivator standing outside. When the cultivator saw Lin Feng, he asked, "You are Lin Feng?" Lin Feng frowned. This person actually knew him. However, he didn't know this guy. In the vast starry sky world, it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens to meet an acquaintance. However, today, he actually met someone who knew him. It was really not easy. "Who are you?" Lin Feng asked. "You don't need to ask who I am. You only need to know that someone wants to see you. Follow me." The cultivator looked at Lin Feng with an arrogant expression and spoke in a tone as if he was ordering his servant. Lin Feng frowned. This guy's attitude made him feel very unhappy. Lin Feng did not follow this person. He had a sneer on his face. Who did this guy think he was? If he wanted him to leave with him, he had to leave with him? What a joke. The cultivator also noticed that Lin Feng did not stand still. His expression turned ugly. He turned his head and looked coldly at Lin Feng. "Didn't you hear what I said? Don't make me say the same thing a second time." The cultivator had an arrogant expression on his face. He was looking at Lin Feng with an ice-cold expression. His eyes were filled with coldness. Lin Feng said with an indifferent expression, "Why should I follow you to see that person? Go back and tell your master that if he wants to see me, tell him to come personally." "Kid, what did you say?" The cultivator's gaze turned cold. "What? Don't you understand human language?" Lin Feng looked at the cultivator mockingly. The cultivator's face turned cold. "You dare to insult me? Are you worthy?" Lin Feng curled his lips. He looked at the cultivator with a gaze full of contempt. Lin Feng's gaze made the cultivator extremely angry. He said coldly, "Kid, if you know what's good for you, come with me. Otherwise, I don't mind dragging you away." What a joke. What kind of Tom, Dick, and Harry dare to come to my place and jump around? Lin Feng said disdainfully. Boom. A terrifying aura was emitted from the cultivator's body. The cultivator directly punched at Lin Feng. Lin Feng's expression was cold. He waved his hand and slapped at the cultivator. Bang! The cultivator and Lin Feng's palm collided. Immediately, as if struck by lightning, the cultivator was sent flying. Kneel. Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. Then, The cultivator couldn't withstand the terrifying pressure emitted from Lin Feng's body and knelt on the ground. Lin Feng flicked his finger, and a restriction flew out. It suppressed the cultivator's body, making it difficult for him to struggle. You dare to suppress me? How dare you humiliate me like this? Do you know who I am? The cultivator roared angrily. Said Lin Feng indifferently. I don't care who you are. You came to my place to act all high and mighty. You must be tired of living. Wait for your master to come and save you. After saying that, Lin Feng returned to his courtyard. Many people were pointing and whispering outside. Late at night, someone knocked on Lin Feng's courtyard door again. Lin Gongzi, I'm sorry for visiting so late at night. I wonder if I can meet with Lin Gongzi? Then, a voice sounded in the courtyard. Chapter 4083. The voice sounded familiar. Soon, Lin Feng realized who the owner of the voice was. Lin Feng didn't expect it. Why would this woman appear here? It was such a coincidence that he bumped into her the moment he arrived. Come in. The door opened and Lin Feng's voice sounded. The woman stepped into the courtyard and the door closed. The woman wore a black dress and was extremely beautiful. After seeing this woman, Lin Feng sneered. He said, I really didn't expect you to come here. What are you doing here? Are you here for the 2 Shi ancient coin? This woman was none other than Morong Yuechan, the female cultivator who secretly gave him the 2 Shi ancient coin. Morong Yuechan wanted to get the 2 Shi ancient coin back from Lin Feng. However, the 2 Shi ancient coin and Lin Feng had formed a close connection. Lin Feng's fate and the 2 Shi ancient coin's fate were intertwined. Therefore, Morong Yuechan couldn't get it back. Of course, even if he could get it back, Lin Feng wouldn't give it to her. Back then, this woman caused him to be cursed by the 2 Shi ancient coin. However, she managed to escape unscathed. Wanting to get the 2 Shi ancient coin back so easily was simply a daydream. Actually, I've been wanting to find Lin Gongzi all these years. However, I was delayed by some matters. I didn't expect Lin Gongzi to come to the Xian domain. I saw Lin Gongzi by chance and sent my subordinates to invite Lin Gongzi for a gathering. However, I didn't expect that Lin Gongzi would have a conflict with my subordinates. Morong Yuechan said. Lin Feng said indifferently, Are you talking about that guy outside? He was just a servant, yet he was so full of himself. How did Fairy Yuechan discipline her servants? Or perhaps like master, like servant? Morong Yuechan said, Lin Gongzi, are you indirectly scolding the locust? Lin Feng said indifferently, No, I'm just expressing my feelings. After hearing Lin Feng's words, Morong Yuechan said with a fake smile, Lin Gongzi is magnanimous. Don't lower yourself to Lin Gongzi's level. I apologize on behalf of my subordinates. I hope that Lin Gongzi will be magnanimous and let him go. Said Lin Feng, Goddess Yuchan asked me personally, so I won't lower myself to your level. Lin Feng flicked his finger and godly lights flew out. The divine light instantly removed the restriction on the cultivator. That subordinate of yours is already free, Lin Feng said. Morong Yuechan said, Thank you, Lin Gongzi, for sparing these ignorant servants. We're here for the 2 Shi ancient coin. Lin Feng said, Since you know you can't take it away, why bother wasting your time? Morong Yuechan said, I know that Lin Gongzi is very angry about what happened before. To express my apology, Lin Gongzi only needs to hand over the 2 Shi ancient coin. Then, I'll give Lin Gongzi an immortal scripture and an immortal artifact. How about it? That should be enough to appease Lin Gongzi, right? How generous. However, the 2 Shi ancient coin is connected to my fate. I'm afraid you can't take it away. Lin Feng said. Morong Yuechan said, All these years, we've been trying to think of a way to solve this problem. In recent years, we've thought of a way. Perhaps we can give it a try. It should be able to successfully separate the 2 Shi ancient coin from Lin Gongzi's fate. Lin Feng said with a cold smile, This should have some negative effects on me, right? Even if it doesn't, I won't agree to it. The secret of the 2 Shi ancient coin and the 2 Shi immortal kingdom should belong to me, not you. Leave now, and don't come looking for me in the future. There's no room for discussion on this matter between us. Morong Yuechan narrowed her eyes and said, Shouldn't Lin Gongzi think about it carefully? This is something that benefits both of us. Take care. I won't be seeing you out, Lin Feng said indifferently. Murong Yuechan's eyes flashed with coldness. Then, she retracted the coldness in her eyes and said, I hope that Lin Gongzi will think about it carefully in the next few days. Then, Murong Yuechan left Lin Feng's residence. Young miss, is it done? Seeing Murong Yuechan come out, a dozen people waiting outside came up to her and an old man asked. Murong Yuechan shook her head. That old man's eyes flashed with killing intent and said, That brat refused a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Why don't we go all the way and kill him directly? Murong Yuechan said, This person is not simple. He has some powerful magic treasures and some powerful methods. If we can kill him directly, it'll be fine. If we can't kill him directly, it'll leave behind a huge problem. Let's wait and see. I hope that he can make the right choice. Also, send someone to monitor him. Yes, young miss, the old man replied. It seems that Murong Yuechan's family should be a power in the Xin Domain Star Ocean. Lin Feng couldn't help but raise his eyebrows. The Xin Domain Star Ocean had more than a dozen powerful powers. And those powers, they were all very ancient and powerful. Lin Feng felt that Murong Yuechan's family should be one of them. With regards to Murong Yuechan's arrival, Lin Feng didn't put it to heart. With his current strength, he can deal with all kinds of situations. One person against an entire family. This is a phrase that describes an expert like Lin Feng. Unless Murong Yuechan's family has an immortal-level existence, otherwise, Lin Feng wouldn't be afraid of Murong Yuechan's family. The next day, Lin Feng planned to go to some bookstores to buy some books about the division of powers in the Xin Domain Star Ocean. He discovered that there are people following him in the dark. Seems like it's people from the Murong family. These people are really like ghosts that won't go away. Lin Feng didn't care about those people. After he found a bookstore, he bought some basic books. Then, he found a place to start reading. After reading the contents of these books, Lin Feng had a more comprehensive understanding of the division of powers in the Xin Domain Star Ocean. The Xin Domain Star Ocean consists of 1 sect, 3 sects, and 8 families. This sect refers to the Xin Domain sect, the strongest power in the Xin Domain Star Ocean. The 3 sects refer to the Xin Dao sect, Xian Xing sect, and Xian Hai sect. The 8 families refer to the Ning family, Situ family, Zhang family, Helian family, Murong family, Sikong family, Tu family, and Tandai family. The Xin Domain Star Ocean's 12 major powers each have a deep background. Of course. Chapter 4084. Because of this subtle distribution of power, the mystic star domain was relatively peaceful. The most frightening thing was for one faction to become the dominant faction. Once that happened, the dominant faction would inevitably become arrogant. They would not be willing to accept the fact that the resources, territories, and benefits that their faction obtained were similar to those of the other factions. At that time, a war would inevitably break out. However, there was no need to worry about such a thing happening. The 12 factions of the Mystic Star Domain had been living peacefully for the past few years. Lin Feng focused on 2 factions. One was the Ning family, and the other was the Murong family. The ancestor of the Ning family was called Ning Tianchit. He was an extremely talented person. It was said that he was an expert from the era of titled gods. The Ning family was not a faction of the Mystic Star Domain in the beginning. They only took root in the Mystic Star Domain after the ancient era. They were once prosperous. They were also once weak. In the past few years, the Ning family had not been peaceful. It was said that the Ning family patriarch was injured a few years ago. In addition, several experts of the Ning family walked out from the God Stone. Among the experts of the Ning family, only one of them was from the patriarch's faction. The others were from the Grand Elders faction. Therefore, the Grand Elders faction wanted to strip the Ning family patriarch's faction of their power. They wanted to make the Grand Elders faction the new main faction. The current patriarch's faction would become the Grand Elders faction. Naturally, the patriarch's faction would not agree to this. Therefore, the Ning family was in chaos. Of course, after all, they were from the same family. They had not completely shed all pretense of cordiality. Now, these two factions were trying their best to win the support of the elders. If the elders in the family supported the patriarch's faction, even though the Grand Elders faction had more experts, it would not be easy to usurp the patriarch's position. After all, the opinions of the middle management of any faction could not be underestimated. If there was no support from the middle management, even if there were more experts among these people, in the end, there would be no support and their power would be taken away. After all, those experts were basically used as a deterrent. They would not personally manage the affairs of the family. The ones who were truly in charge of managing the various affairs of the clan were the elders of the clan. I wonder if Guan Guan was summoned back to the clan by her mother because of the internal strife in the clan? Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. There were simply too many tricks up their sleeves. There were all kinds of infighting and power struggles. Everyone was scheming against each other. Moreover, he completely disregarded his blood ties. As for the introduction of the Morong family, Lin Feng paid more attention to it. The Morong family is the most mysterious family among the 8 great families. This family is a power that took root in the Xin domain Starry Ocean during the ancient era. It was now the Age of Chaos, which was also known as the Late Antiquity era. Further back was the Middle Antiquity era, and further back was the Ancient Antiquity era. It had only been 1,000,000 years since the Ancient era. For powerful cultivators, 1,000,000 years was not a long time. It was said that the Morong family was very powerful and had relations with some ancient powers. Back then, the other powers joined hands to prevent the Morong family from taking root in the Xin domain Starry Sea. However, they failed in the end. From this, it can be seen how great the capability of the Morong family is. However, after the Morong family took root in the Xin domain Starry Ocean, they kept a low profile. Although the family doesn't lack some evil second-generation young masters, any large family doesn't lack these kind of people. And these kind of people are naturally a group of harmless people. Lin Feng put away the book and left the bookstore. Not long after he left the bookstore, a group of people rushed over and surrounded Lin Feng. The group of people parted and a young master walked over. This young master has an arrogant expression. He indifferently glanced at Lin Feng and said, "You should be that Lin Feng, right? I heard that you have an item here. That item should belong to my Morong family. Now, hand it over." This person's tone is cold and indifferent. He used an unquestionable tone to speak. If Lin Feng dares to refuse him, it seems like he will suffer a thunderous attack. It is the Morong family's 6th young master, Morong Jie. This guy was definitely not a good person. Who is that brat? He is actually being targeted by Morong Jie? I'm afraid he is somewhat unlucky this time. The commotion here naturally attracted many cultivators who came to watch the show. Some people recognized the identity of this young master. Morong family's 6th young master, Morong Jie, is a direct descendant of the Morong family. He is the grandson of the Morong family's patriarch. This Morong Jie's way of doing things is vicious and merciless. In order to achieve his goal, he will do anything. Therefore, many people are extremely afraid of Morong Jie. No one dares to provoke Morong Jie. Originally, the matter of 2 Shi ancient coins was not Morong Jie's responsibility. It was Morong Yuechan's responsibility. Morong Yuechan. Among the younger generation of the Morong family, her talent is the best. Moreover, she has been extremely intelligent since she was young. She is the most valued person among the younger generation of the Morong family. If Morong Yuechan was not a woman, she would have received even more support, resources, and authority from the family. Among the younger generation of the Morong family, there are some who just muddle along and don't care about this. However, there are some who are filled with jealousy towards Morong Yuechan. Morong Jie belongs to the group of people who are filled with jealousy towards Morong Yuechan. Morong Yuechan is Morong Jie's cousin. They are not blood-related siblings. Morong Jie has always thought that he is not inferior to Morong Yuechan in terms of talent, ability, and so on. However, his status in the family is far from his cousin's. This made Morong Jie extremely unhappy. Although the matter of 2 Shi ancient coins is not under Morong Jie's responsibility, Morong Jie heard that Morong Yuechan suffered because of this matter. Therefore, he personally took action and brought the 2 Shi ancient coins back to the family. When that time comes, the elders in the family will definitely see him in a new light. With this goal in mind, Murong Jia personally came to look for Lin Feng. Lin Feng glanced at Murong Jia indifferently and said, "A good dog doesn't block the way. There are no good dogs in the way. Get out of my way. Don't block my way." When Lin Feng said this, all the cultivators around were dumbfounded. None of them knew Lin Feng. However, they could roughly sense Lin Feng's age and could also sense Lin Feng's race. A young cultivator from the human clan. Although they could not sense Lin Feng's specific realm. However, Lin Feng is so young. Moreover, his talent is the most ordinary among the human clan. How much cultivation could such a person have? However, Lin Feng is being so arrogant in front of Murong Jia. In many people's eyes, Lin Feng must be tired of living. Murong Jia will definitely not let Lin Feng go. Chapter 4085. Murong Jia's gaze was extremely gloomy. He looked coldly at Lin Feng and said, "Boy, do you know what you're saying?" Lin Feng looked at Murong Jia with a mocking gaze and said, "You really don't understand human language? It seems like I said that a good dog doesn't block the way. You're right." Hearing this, many people's mouths twitched violently because Lin Feng was really too arrogant. This was the Murong clan's territory, but Lin Feng was actually so arrogant in the Murong clan's territory. Lin Feng was just a foreign cultivator. There was a saying that a strong dragon could not suppress a snake in its own territory. No matter how they looked at it, Lin Feng did not seem to be a strong dragon. Many people had seen arrogant people before, but they had never seen someone like Lin Feng who was so weak and arrogant in someone else's territory. Although they did not have a good impression of Murong Jia and hoped that someone would teach him a lesson, it was obvious that Lin Feng was unable to teach Murong Jia a lesson. Now that he had humiliated Murong Jia like this, Lin Feng's fate would definitely be extremely miserable. "You're courting death. You're courting death. You're courting death." Murong Jia's voice was extremely cold, and his eyes were bursting with a dense killing intent. There was actually someone who looked down on him and disdained him. This made Murong Jia extremely angry. Murong Jia's heart was already overflowing with killing intent. If he did not kill Lin Feng, how could he calm down the anger in his heart? "Catch this boy for me. I'll make him kneel in front of me like a dog and then beg me to spare his dog life." Murong Jia said coldly, "Yes, master." After hearing Murong Jia's order, a group of people hurriedly responded. Then, this group of cultivators pounced on Lin Feng like wolves and tigers. "It's over. This boy is really finished this time." Many people exclaimed. Naturally, no one was optimistic about Lin Feng. Thinking about it, it made sense. How could a young human cultivator like Lin Feng fight with the Murong clan? They were not on the same level at all. At this moment, Lin Feng's body suddenly emitted a terrifying aura. When the terrifying aura was released, the cultivators who were rushing towards Lin Feng were all unable to withstand the terrifying pressure. Thump, thump, thump. One cultivator after another knelt on the ground, their faces as pale as paper. "Oh my God, what's going on? Why are those people kneeling?" The surrounding cultivators who were watching the show exclaimed one after another. Lin Feng released his own pressure. His control over it was perfect. He did not target the surrounding cultivators who were watching the show. Those cultivators were also unable to sense the powerful pressure emanating from Lin Feng's body. Thus, when they saw the cultivators who were charging towards Lin Feng kneeling before him, looks of disbelief appeared on their faces. His body is emitting an extremely terrifying pressure. However, his control is extremely perfect. Ordinary people would not be able to sense the pressure emitted from his body. An extremely powerful cultivator said in a deep voice. He felt the pressure emanating from Lin Feng and was extremely shocked. He looked at Lin Feng with a serious expression. "What? This boy is so powerful at such a young age?" One cultivator after another exclaimed in shock. Lin Feng walked towards Murong Jia step by step. At this moment, Murong Jia's entire body was trembling violently. He was enveloped by Lin Feng's pressure. If his cultivation was not strong enough, he would have been unable to withstand it and would have knelt on the ground. Although he had not knelt down yet, he had almost reached his limit. "Ant-like thing, how dare you behave so atrociously in front of me? You really don't know what's good for you." Lin Feng glanced at Murong Jie indifferently. You. Murong Jie's voice trembled. When Lin Feng arrived beside him, Murong Jie could no longer endure it. Murong Jie couldn't take it anymore. He knelt down in front of Lin Feng. Murong Jie seems to be a sage emperor, right? He actually knelt down. What kind of existence is that young master? Could he be a peak sage emperor? The sage emperor can't possibly exert such pressure on Murong Jie. He's at least an imperial lord. This is ridiculous. That young master is so young. How can he be an imperial lord? If he's not an imperial lord, why would Murong Jie be unable to withstand the pressure coming from his body and kneel on the ground? The cultivators who were watching the show were in an uproar. Lin Feng's combat strength was too terrifying. It was simply heaven-defying. Seeing how powerful Lin Feng was, everyone could not help but feel deeply shocked. Everybody was looking at Lin Feng with respect and admiration. No matter where a strong cultivator went, he would always be respected and respected. I won't kill you, because you don't have the right. I'll kill you. You'll only dirty my hands. Lin Feng looked at Murong Jie with contempt. Murong Jie had always been a proud and arrogant person. He had always been a high and mighty figure. He had always been the one humiliating others. When had he ever been humiliated like this? Now that he heard Lin Feng's words, he was furious. Wah! He spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was as pale as a sheet. His body fell to the ground and twitched violently. This guy had actually gone mad. His mental fortitude is really bad. With such mental fortitude, what great achievements can he have? Lin Feng could not help but sneer and soar into the sky. He planned to leave planet Xian and head to planet Tiannan where the Ning clan was. Planet Tiannan was located northwest of planet Xian. It was where the Ning clan was located. There were a total of 36 cities on planet Tiannan. The main city was called Ning City. It was named after the Ning clan's surname. Planet Tiannan was also very lively. Especially during this period of time, there were even more cultivators entering planet Tiannan. This was because many forces knew that the Ning clan in planet Tiannan was in an undercurrent. Thus, many people were waiting for the Ning clan to fight. When the time came, planet Tiannan would be in chaos. At that time, those cultivators would be able to take advantage of the situation and wantonly plunder planet Tiannan's resources. This kind of thing was too common. If the Ning clan's losses were too severe, planet Tiannan might change hands. Although the remaining 11 major forces seemed calm, they were actually paying attention to the Ning clan's situation. Perhaps the two major forces of the Ning clan were also worried about other forces taking advantage of the situation, so they did not make a move. However, the open and covert fighting continued. Lin Feng landed in Arasima and flew in the direction of Ning City. He passed by a small town. As he was passing by, Lin Feng heard a piece of news. It was said that the skeleton of a true dragon had appeared in the Tiannan ancient forest. Chapter 4086. The ninth true dragon great emperor fell one after another. No one knew where the true dragon skeleton was buried. The true dragon skeleton was found. He should be able to obtain the inheritance of the true dragon great emperor. In the past, the true dragon great emperor was an existence that could contend with the ancient saint emperor of the human race. One could imagine how powerful this level of expert was. Now, a large number of cultivators had arrived. They were all here to search for the true dragon skeleton. The news of the true dragon skeleton appearing here was really too shocking. The news has just been spread out. Most of the cultivators here are still from the heavenly South Star. If this news is spread out, it will definitely attract a lot of powerful cultivators. The heavenly South ancient forest is too dangerous. Unfortunately, we are not strong enough. If we were strong enough, we could enter the heavenly South ancient forest to explore. Yes, maybe we can get the opportunity inside. But now that we are not strong enough, we can only think about it. We don't dare to have any extravagant hopes. Some cultivators were talking about the true dragon skeleton. After Lin Feng heard the discussion of those cultivators, he did not stay in the ancient town. He also wanted to see if the legendary true dragon skeleton was true. If it was true, Lin Feng would definitely obtain the inheritance of the true dragon great emperor. He flew towards the depths of the heavenly south ancient forest. The heavenly south ancient forest was very large. It was said that this ancient forest occupied 1/10 of the heavenly south star's territory. From this, one could see how big the heavenly south ancient forest was. There were many terrifying fierce beasts in the heavenly south ancient forest. Many of them were fierce beasts that even the experts of the Ning family of the heavenly south star were not willing to provoke, because those fierce beasts were really too powerful. This time, a large number of cultivators had poured into the heavenly south ancient forest. From time to time, fierce beasts and cultivators would break out in battle. Violent fluctuations came from the mountain forest in front of him. There were creatures fighting together. Lin Feng quickly flew over and saw more than a dozen cultivators besieging an 8-armed evil tiger. The 8-armed evil tiger was an extremely ferocious beast. It was cruel and bloodthirsty and was good at hiding its body. It liked to hide in dark corners and sneak attack its opponent. This kind of creature was extremely rare. Lin Feng had only heard of the 8-armed evil tiger before, but had never seen one. This was the first time Lin Feng had seen the 8-armed evil tiger. That wave of cultivators had a furious expression on their faces, and their gazes towards the 8-armed evil tiger were filled with dense killing intent. This made Lin Feng quite surprised. They didn't seem to be hunting the 8-armed evil tiger for the corpse of the 8-armed evil tiger. Instead, they seemed to be avenging someone. This group of people was led by a rather young master and another rather young female cultivator. These two had the most powerful cultivation. Under their leadership, the group of people launched a fierce attack on the 8-armed evil tiger. Lin Feng couldn't help but take a few more glances at the female cultivator, mainly because she was too beautiful. Her figure could be described as the perfect golden ratio, and her palm-sized face was exquisite and beautiful. Under the joint attack of more than a dozen people, the 8-armed evil tiger was injured, and many wounds appeared on its body. The 8-armed evil tiger roared angrily. "You lowly ants, do you know who my master is? You dare to besiege me? I think you don't want to live anymore." The 8-armed evil tiger was very arrogant and roared angrily. "You beast! You ate 3 of our companions. We don't care who your master is. You're dead today." The young male cultivator who led the group said fiercely. Lin Feng had already guessed the grudges between them. The 8-armed evil tiger liked to devour creatures of other races to improve its strength. Therefore, this group of people was unlucky to be attacked by the 8-armed evil tiger. The 8-armed evil tiger ate 3 of their companions, and the rest of them began to attack the 8-armed evil tiger like crazy. "No need to talk to this beast, just kill it," the very beautiful female cultivator said. The dozen people increased the intensity of their attacks. One by one, powerful magic treasures attacked the 8-armed evil tiger with all kinds of attacks. Among them, 3 flying swords slashed at the 8-armed evil tiger. The 8-armed evil tiger could not dodge these attacks. Its injuries were getting worse. The 8-armed evil tiger kept roaring. It wanted to kill a few people before it died, so it kept pouncing on some of the cultivators. However, the cultivators dodged it. Puff! A flying sword directly pierced the 8-armed evil tiger's body, and its body fell to the ground. The 8-armed evil tiger let out a sorrowful cry. Just as these people were about to finish off the 8-armed evil tiger, the void slightly distorted, and a cultivator appeared. This cultivator had the body of a human, the tail of a crocodile, centipede-like scales, and the eyes of a spider. This was a foreign creature. When he saw the foreign creature, Lin Feng's face could not help but reveal an extremely surprised expression. He had not seen a foreign creature for a long time. These foreign creatures were extremely evil and also extremely powerful. Many of the disturbances in the past were related to these foreign creatures. The cultivators of this epoch hated the foreign creatures to the core. Great Master, after seeing the foreign creature, the 8-armed evil tiger's somewhat dim eyes suddenly lit up. The foreign creature waved his hand, and a mass of green light poured into the 8-armed evil tiger's body. In an instant, the 8-armed evil tiger's injuries healed at a speed visible to the naked eye. It did not take long for the 8-armed evil tiger's injuries to be completely healed. When they saw this scene, The expressions of those cultivators immediately changed greatly. That foreign creature was just too powerful. It made them tremble in fear. Who gave you the guts to kill my mount? That foreign creature's voice was ice-cold as he spoke. Your mount ate 3 of our companions, so we want to avenge our companions, a cultivator said. Avenge? Ant-like things? How dare you talk about revenge? The foreign creature's face suddenly revealed a disdainful expression. Let's go, the female cultivator in the lead said. She had already seen that this foreign creature was not someone they could contend against, so she did not dare to stay any longer. The others did not dare to stay any longer either. These people turned around and wanted to leave, but the foreign creature's body emitted a terrifying aura, which directly enveloped everyone. Suddenly, the dozen or so cultivators felt that they could not move. The foreign creature was too powerful, and they did not even have the strength to resist. Die! The foreign creature's expression was indifferent as he attacked the dozen or so cultivators across the void. At this moment, the dozen or so cultivators felt the aura of death envelop them. Chapter 4087. The foreign being's expression was cold and emotionless. In his opinion, those cultivators were dead for sure. There was no way they could turn the situation around. Those cultivators indeed had no way to resist the foreign being's attack. Although they were extremely unwilling, they could only wait for death to come. They didn't want to die, but this was no longer a question of whether they wanted to die or not. The initiative was not in their hands at all. Just as the dozen or so cultivators were about to be killed, the void trembled slightly. A cultivator stepped out from the void. This cultivator was none other than Lin Feng. Lin Feng pointed lightly at the energy palm. There was a loud bang. That energy palm directly shattered. We didn't die. The group of cultivators immediately became excited. They thought that they were definitely going to die, but they didn't expect to survive. Everyone looked at Lin Feng. When they saw Lin Feng, they were extremely shocked. The cultivator in front of them was so young, but he was so powerful. It was unbelievable. Hurry up and leave this place. Lin Feng looked at the dozen or so cultivators and said, Thank you for saving our lives. The cultivators hurriedly thanked Lin Feng. They didn't dare to stay and quickly left. Kid, who are you? The foreign being frowned slightly. He didn't stop those people from leaving, because those people were simply ants to him. The human cultivator in front of him was a worthy opponent. Who am I? You don't have the right to know. Lin Feng said indifferently. Aren't you a little too arrogant? The foreign being said with a gloomy expression. The foreign beings had always been extremely arrogant. This foreign being naturally had such a personality. Only they, the foreign beings, looked down on cultivators of other races. When had they ever been looked down on by others? But today, Lin Feng's arrogant attitude made the foreign being extremely angry. Lin Feng said indifferently, Arrogant? That's because I have the strength. Is that so? I'd like to see what qualifications you have to say such words. The foreign creature sneered and then rushed towards Lin Feng. Meanwhile, his mount. They also charged towards Lin Feng. The 8-armed evil tiger was as fast as lightning, taking the lead to pounce on Lin Feng. Meanwhile, the foreign creature landed behind the 8-armed evil tiger. He was also preparing a divine ability. This guy's speed was not necessarily slower than the 8-armed evil tigers. The reason why he fell behind the 8-armed evil tiger was because he wanted to use the 8-armed evil tiger's cover to launch a killing blow on Lin Feng. However, this guy obviously underestimated Lin Feng's strength. When the 8-armed evil tiger pounced over, Lin Feng flicked his finger and a sword chi flew out quickly, slashing towards the 8-armed evil tiger. The 8-armed evil tiger opened its bloody mouth and spat out dense wind blades. It wanted to use those extremely powerful wind blades to block Lin Feng's attack, but the 8-armed evil tiger ultimately failed. Lin Feng's sword chi instantly pierced through the wind blades and arrived in front of the 8-armed evil tiger. Lin Feng's sword chi continued moving towards the 8-armed evil tiger. Suddenly, a tearing sound was heard. The 8-armed evil tiger's body was directly torn into 2 halves, and it was killed by Lin Feng on the spot. Lin Feng's body swayed, and in the next moment, he was already in front of the foreign being. 9 heavens 10 earths. The best in the world technique was displayed. Lin Feng carried supreme divine power, as if an unparalleled immortal divine king had returned. A punch blasted towards the foreign being. The foreign cultivator was astonished. He hadn't thought Lin Feng would be able to kill his mount so easily. Lin Feng's cultivation was clearly beyond the foreign being's estimation. Of course, this foreign being was also very powerful. Facing Lin Feng's tyrannical attack, the foreign being stretched out its sharp claws. It directly slapped towards Lin Feng. On the foreign being's claws, endless shadows of the starry sky appeared. He didn't know the name of this divine ability, but its power should be extremely tyrannical. Bang! Along with the violent collision sound, the foreign being was blasted away by Lin Feng. Kacha! 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 His bones were broken by Lin Feng's punch. The foreign cultivator was severely injured. He couldn't help but cough out a mouthful of blood. He didn't dare to continue fighting with Lin Feng, so he turned around and ran into the distance. Lin Feng couldn't help but be stupefied in his memory. In his impression, the foreign beings were all extremely arrogant. These guys definitely wouldn't easily run away. Even if they couldn't win, they would still fight with their lives on the line. Only when they really had no other choice would they run away. Although this foreign being's arm was broken by Lin Feng, the great battle between the two sides had just begun. This guy actually turned around and ran, truly lacking in backbone. Lin Feng guessed that this guy shouldn't be one of the foreign beings that had been suppressed in the past. Those foreign beings that crossed the universe and were suppressed for many years, even if their cultivation fell, they were still incomparably vicious, not easily cowering back. Perhaps this guy was a foreign being born in this world. Lin Feng quickly chased after the fleeing foreign being. He said with a chuckle, "You can't escape. There's no need to make a futile struggle." This foreign being's expression was extremely gloomy. He ignored Lin Feng and fled frantically. But soon, his face turned green, because he discovered that Lin Feng was actually quickly chasing after him. This foreign being was incomparably depressed. Speed was his forte, but he didn't expect that Lin Feng's speed was actually even faster than his. This foreign being knew that he had to use his ultimate move, or else Lin Feng would definitely catch up. His back trembled slightly, and then a pair of huge light shadow wings appeared. Those light shadow wings shook the void, and this foreign being's speed immediately increased greatly. Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. This guy had quite a lot of tricks up his sleeve. In the forest, many people discovered a scene that left them incomparably shocked. A young human cultivator was actually chasing after a foreign being all over the world. A foreign being? What kind of terrifying existence was that? Now, many people would take a detour when they saw a foreign being. They didn't dare to start a conflict with a foreign being at all, but Lin Feng, a young human cultivator, was actually chasing after a foreign being. It was truly inconceivable. Countless people were discussing this matter. In the end, above a valley, Lin Feng caught up to this foreign being, and the two sides engaged in a great battle. After more than 10 rounds, Lin Feng found an opportunity to send this foreign being flying with a palm. Chapter 4088. Lin Feng did not directly kill the alien because Lin Feng wanted to learn some things from the alien. It was not easy to capture an alien, so Lin Feng naturally would not let go of the opportunity to interrogate the alien. "I can give you endless wealth, but please spare my life." After being suppressed, the alien looked at Lin Feng with a gloomy expression. This fellow was actually begging Lin Feng for mercy. Said Lin Feng, "Tisk, tsk. It's rare to see a cowardly creature like you. I only have one life, so I naturally have to cherish it. If I don't cherish my own life, who will cherish mine? You've seen through things quite clearly." Lin Feng looked at the alien in astonishment. "Of course, no matter what you want me to do, I will cooperate with you. Please don't kill me." "Hee hee, not killing you. That's impossible." Lin Feng sneered. "You can't kill me. You can't kill me." When the alien heard that Lin Feng wanted to kill him, he was on the verge of breaking down. This fellow's emotions fluctuated greatly. Lin Feng was deliberately provoking him in order to cause this fellow's emotions to fluctuate. And then, he would find an opportunity to search this fellow's soul. "Hee hee, You aliens can wantonly slaughter the cultivators of our universe, so why can't we kill you? All aliens deserve death. Lin Feng sneered, continuing to provoke this fellow. The alien said loudly, "What does this have to do with me? I am a creature born from this universe. Even though my ancestors were foreign creatures, in reality, that was something from a long, long time ago. Countless years ago, my ancestors came from the other side. They did something wrong and have already been punished, and what they did has nothing to do with us. Our race has already lived in this universe for many great eras. Although we still look like otherworldly creatures, we have long taken root here. You can't blame me for the mistakes my ancestors made. You are a wise and powerful person. You definitely won't do something like killing the innocent, right?" Lin Feng sneered. Flattery is useless. If you want to blame someone, you can only blame your ancestors for being too cruel. As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng raised his hand, as if he wanted to kill the alien with a slap. The foreign creature's emotions became more and more stirred up. He shouted loudly, "Spare me! Spare me! I beg you to spare me! I don't want to die." Lin Feng put his hand on the foreign cultivator's head. Lin Feng didn't kill him in one strike. Instead, he used a soul-searching technique on the foreign cultivator's head. He wanted to see if there were any secrets hidden in his soul. However, very quickly, Lin Feng realized that the soul of the foreign cultivator was very special. The memories in his soul were covered by a dense fog. No matter how hard Lin Feng tried, he could not search the memories in his soul. Lin Feng could not help but frown. This fellow's soul was really strange to the extreme. Lin Feng stopped and looked at the alien with an uncertain expression. The alien could not help but let out a sigh of relief. He discovered that Lin Feng had just searched his soul, but Lin Feng had failed. As long as he was useful, the alien knew that he would not die. What he feared the most was that he would become useless, which meant that Lin Feng would succeed in searching his soul. At that time, he would undoubtedly die. "Young master, the souls of our race are very special. Others cannot search our souls. However, as long as young master does not kill me, I can't tell you anything," the alien hurriedly said. Lin Feng could not help but frown slightly. If this alien was a creature from another universe, even if he could not search his soul, Lin Feng would not hesitate to kill this fellow with a palm. However, this fellow was not a creature from another universe. He was just the descendant of a certain creature from another universe. Lin Feng felt that this reason could make him spare his life. Of course, Lin Feng originally wanted to kill this fellow, who asked this fellow to be the descendant of a foreign creature. But now, if he wanted to know some secrets, he indeed needed to spare his life. Lin Feng said, "All right, I'll give you a chance to live. What do I ask? Just answer. Yes, yes, yes." The alien hurriedly nodded. How could he dare to disobey Lin Feng? Wouldn't that be courting death? "Are you a foreign cultivator? Or a cultivator from Arisima?" Lin Feng asked. "I'm a foreign cultivator." The alien hurriedly said, "How many people do you have in your clan?" Lin Feng continued to ask. "My clan has a total of 24 people. The strongest one is an ancestor who's a loose immortal," the alien said. Lin Feng was surprised. That guy had an ancestor who was an independent celestial cultivator? That clan was terrifying. However, when he thought about how this clan was the descendant of a foreign creature, it did not seem inconceivable that they would have a loose immortal patriarch. After all, their clan had a very strong foundation. As if worried that Lin Feng would misunderstand that their clan had done many outrageous things, the alien hurriedly said, "Our clan has long since completely integrated into this universe. Our clan has always abided by the law of the jungle and the survival of the fittest. Although we have had conflicts with other factions, we have never done anything too outrageous." Hee, don't be so full of yourself. It's easy to be slapped in the face. Lin Feng mocked. This foreign creature said, "Everything I said is the truth. What kind of world is the Outerverse? Do you know?" Lin Feng asked. This was a topic that Lin Feng was very concerned about. It was also a topic that Lin Feng was very curious about. He only knew that the alien creatures had come to this universe from the Outerverse. However, The situation in the Outerverse was filled with endless mysteries to Lin Feng. Lin Feng had always wanted to know more about the Outerverse, but no one knew. Even the Demon Lord did not know much about the Outerverse. Basically, only the alien creatures knew about the Outerverse. Chapter 4089. The creature didn't dare to hide anything from Lin Feng. When he heard Lin Feng ask about the Outerverse, he quickly nodded and said, "I do have some understanding of the Outerverse." "Then tell me about the Outerverse." Lin Feng's eyes lit up. The creature said, "It's said that we can view the latitude of these ancient universes as a three-dimensional space, and within this latitude, there are many universes. The universe we're in now is one of the universes in this latitude. Do you understand what I'm saying?" The term latitude was very new to Lin Feng, but Lin Feng could generally understand the meaning of the creature's words. He nodded and said, "I understand. Please continue." Humans are divided into yin and yang, and all things are divided into yin and yang. It's said that the universe is also divided into yin and yang, just like how our universe is divided into the Eastern and Western universes. The place we're in now is the Eastern universe. Within the latitude, there are extremely strict requirements for the division of space. It's said that the distribution of the universes in the latitude has to follow the principles of the Great Tao's distribution, which is what we call yin and yang. The distribution of the four divisions has to form a special cycle in order to maintain the balance of the entire latitude. According to the information I received from my elders, there are a total of 4 known universes in this latitude. Hearing this, Lin Feng couldn't help but be shocked. Originally, Lin Feng thought that the place they were in was one universe, and outside this universe was another universe. There were 2 universes between heaven and earth, but now he knew that this understanding was wrong. There were 4 universes between heaven and earth. Lin Feng didn't interrupt and continued to listen. The creature continued, "Among these 4 universes, the one we're in now is called the 9 States universe." 9 States universe? Why is this universe named after 9 states? Lin Feng asked, puzzled. This is because the 9 prefectures is the starting point of the universe. It is said that before the Big Bang, the universe was in chaos. In the chaos, there was an ancient continent called Juzhou. After the Big Bang, Juzhou was blown apart. Then, Juzhou evolved into various worlds, such as the 3,000 macro worlds and so on. The Juzhou macro world was the starting point left behind after the Big Bang. This is also the reason why the Juzhou macro world gave birth to so many experts. However, as time passed, the Juzhou macro world has declined. Lin Feng nodded. If what the foreign creatures said was true, then the legend of Pangu splitting heaven and earth could not be believed. Of course, from the beginning to the end, Lin Feng had never believed in the legend of Pangu's creation of the world. He had always treated such legends as stories. Lin Feng asked, "What are the other 3 universes?" The foreign creature said, "Originally, the universe where my ancestor lived was called the Nirvana universe. It is said that the living conditions in that universe are incomparably bad, so bad that it is unimaginable." Is that the origin of the term Nirvana universe? Lin Feng asked. The foreign creature nodded and said, "It's like this. That Nirvana universe represents death and suffering. Perhaps it's because the living conditions there are too harsh, so the creatures in that universe are very powerful." The foreign creature continued, "As for the other 2 universes, one of them is called Kunlun." Kunlun? Lin Feng raised his eyebrows slightly. He felt that this name was a little strange. When he read it, Lin Feng's heart throbbed. Kunlun is the oldest universe of the 4 universes. The foreign creature said, "The beginning of the universe is Kunlun." It is said that in the latitude space, the 4 universes were originally one, and this one was Kunlun. Later on, the 4 universes of the latitude space also completed their differentiation. From 1 to 4, it was actually Kunlun that split into 4 universes. Although they were differentiated, the largest universe was still the original Kunlun universe. It is said that among the 4 universes, the one that is most similar to Kunlun is Juzhou. Regardless of culture, geography, race, etc., the Juzhou universe and Kunlun universe are very similar. What is the 4th universe? Lin Feng asked curiously. It is said to be called the Time Universe. The foreign creature said with some uncertainty. You don't seem to be sure of the name of this universe? Lin Feng asked. The foreign creature said, It's like this. Because this universe is a little strange. It is said that the outside of the universe is completely enveloped by the power of space-time, and no one can enter it. Later on, someone named it the Time Universe, but no one knows the exact name. The Time Universe is not what that universe is called, but what outsiders call it. I see. Lin Feng nodded. After hearing the foreign creature's words, Lin Feng finally had a more comprehensive and detailed understanding of the outerverse. Now, Lin Feng knew how vast this world was. Even in the Juzhou universe, Lin Feng had only been to a very small area. Lin Feng did not even know where the Western universe of the Juzhou universe was. He did not know if he would have the chance to go to the Western universe before the end of the era. Lin Feng guessed that it would be very difficult to find such an opportunity. Of course, if he did not have the chance to go to the Western universe, Lin Feng would definitely go to the Western universe to see what it was like. He also wanted to go to the Western universe to see what the God, True Lord, and other existences in the Western universe were like. Does your race still remember the method to go to the outerverse? Lin Feng asked. The foreign creature smiled bitterly and said, I don't remember it for a long time. My ancestor also mistakenly entered the 9 provinces universe. After arriving here, it took him a long time to realize that this wasn't the original universe. When he went back to look for that passage, that crack in the void had already closed. Since you did not hide anything from me, I will spare your life. You must do evil, or else you will be killed without mercy, said Lin Feng. He waved his hand and removed the seal on the foreign cultivator's body. Thank you for sparing my life, young master. I will definitely be a kind person in the future. The foreign creature hurriedly expressed his gratitude. Chapter 4090. Phew. Seeing Lin Feng leave, the foreign creature could not help but let out a sigh of relief. He was finally safe. Then, this foreign creature became gloomy. He secretly sighed at how unlucky he was to have provoked such a powerful expert like Lin Feng. The human race was weak. Why was this guy a human cultivator, and he was so young, so powerful? The foreign creature could only blame all of this on his bad luck. This world is really full of crouching tigers and hidden dragons. The foreign creature could not help but sigh with emotion. Then, he flew into the depths of the ancient forest. This time, he had heard about the true dragon skeleton, so he wanted to come here to try his luck. True Dragon Lake. Located in the central region of the heavenly south ancient forest, this lake was very large. It was surrounded by bloody mist all year round. Some cultivators said that the true dragon skeleton might be under the True Dragon Lake. The True Dragon Lake was very dangerous. There were countless restrictions here. Many cultivators had already arrived, but they all stopped at the periphery of the True Dragon Lake and did not rashly enter the True Dragon Lake. This place was indeed incomparably dangerous. Although he had not entered the True Dragon Lake, Lin Feng could already feel the destructive power of some of the terrifying restrictions. How did the news of the true dragon skeleton spread in the first place? Someone asked curiously. He wanted to know how the news of the true dragon skeleton spread and who spread it. Someone said, in the beginning, someone said that they heard a dragon's roar in the heavenly south ancient forest. Then, someone saw the true dragon skeleton soar into the sky and let out a sorrowful cry. Then, the true dragon skeleton rushed into the ancient forest and disappeared. Since this place is called the True Dragon Lake, it might be related to the true dragon skeleton. Lin Feng heard some cultivators say that they could not be sure if the true dragon skeleton was really under the True Dragon Lake. Everything was just speculation. Not long after, another cultivator said, the True Dragon Lake. The reason it's called the True Dragon Lake is because a true dragon fell here, so it became the True Dragon Lake. Is there any evidence to prove this? Someone asked. In the past, I saw an introduction in a Tao scripture, but is the content written in the Tao scripture true? I can't guarantee it, the cultivator said. Some people were already unwilling to continue waiting and planned to enter the True Dragon Lake to explore. Danger lurked in every corner of the True Dragon Lake. However, in the eyes of many cultivators, which place of fortune would not be filled with danger? Swish, swish, swish. Many cultivators had already begun to fly into the True Dragon Lake. Soon, those cultivators disappeared from everyone's sight. The blood mist in the True Dragon Lake blocked everyone's vision. Visibility was extremely low. More and more cultivators entered the True Dragon Lake, including Lin Feng. All kinds of restrictions flew over. It swept towards Lin Feng's body, but Lin Feng successfully dodged it. There were many terrifying restrictions here. If one was hit by one of those restrictions, it would be disastrous. The consequences would be unimaginable. Roar. At this moment, a dragon's roar came from the depths. After hearing the dragon's roar, everyone's spirits were suddenly lifted. Was that the cry of a true dragon? It seemed that this might really be the place where a true dragon was buried. Many people sped up. However, along the way, not everyone was able to withstand the attacks of the restrictions. Lin Feng saw that many cultivators were attacked by powerful restrictions and died miserably. If one wanted an opportunity, they would have to take risks. Once they took the risk, many people would definitely die miserably. Lin Feng was already used to this kind of thing. He went all the way in. Suddenly, a Buddhist light appeared in front of him. Amidst the Buddhist light, an old monk walked over step by step. Amitabha, the sea of bitterness is boundless. Turn back and be saved. The old monk stopped the cultivators who entered the lake. Currently, there were already hundreds of powerful cultivators gathered in the lake. Every cultivator. Their bodies emitted a suffocating aura. The cultivators who were able to reach the depths of the lake were all extraordinary. Their cultivation base. It was as if they were gods and ghosts. But now, when everyone faced the old monk, their expressions were solemn because the old monk's aura was too terrifying. Old monk, you're not human. You're a corpse. You're already dead, and you can't even turn back. How are you going to save us? At this moment, a Taoist priest sneered. The Taoist priest's methods were extraordinary. He saw through the old monk's identity. The Taoist priest's words caused an uproar because cultivators who could see through the old monk's true body were as rare as phoenix feathers and Chilean horns. His laughter was too terrifying. It was even more unpleasant than the laughter of a malicious ghost. Then, an endless black fog gushed out from the old monk's body. Within the black fog, it exuded a suffocating aura. This aura was too frightening, causing others to feel their hair stand on end. Look, in the lake. Someone pointed at the lake and said in a deep voice. Everyone looked over and saw that the lake was constantly bubbling. Then, numerous corpses floated out of the lake. The entire lake was filled with corpses. Many people felt their scalps go numb. Why were there so many corpses in the lake? This is a place where living beings are buried. Have you heard of a pit of 10,000 people? This is not just a pit of 10,000 people, but a pit of 1,000,000 people. In the past, 1,000,000 gods and devils fought and were defeated and killed here. The old monk said. Everyone was horrified. Was what the old monk said true? 1,000,000 gods and devils should be in existence from the era of titled gods, right? What did they fight for? Everything was unknown. Let's go. Some people were frightened and did not want to stay here any longer. They wanted to leave as soon as possible. This group of cultivators was not small. They flew outside. However, there were also many people who did not leave. It was just a bunch of corpses. They were powerful and fearless. With so many cultivators gathered together, how could they not deal with a mere corpse? Old monk, since you've become a corpse, you should cultivate properly. If you block our path, we'll destroy your soul. Do you believe me? The Taoist priest sneered. As a Taoist priest, his methods were extraordinary. Moreover, Taoists and Buddhists had always been at odds with each other. If it wasn't for the fact that he was wary, he would have attacked the old monk long ago. Kikik, ignorant fool. You're about to die, yet you still dare to talk big, the old monk said sinisterly. Whoosh, whoosh. Chapter 4091. When all the corpses opened their eyes, the entire lake seemed to have turned into the netherworld. It was too scary. Roar. A beast-like roar suddenly reverberated between heaven and earth. The corpses soared into the sky and pounced towards the cultivators in the air. Run! Many cultivators cried out in horror, wanting to leave this place as soon as possible. The lake was too scary. So many corpses had revived. They could not stay in this place any longer. Hurry! Hurry! Old Lord Taishang, show yourself. But at this moment, the old monk couldn't help but roar. Then, he took out a yellow talisman. He then chanted an incantation and the yellow talisman burned. A special energy was emitted from the yellow talisman. That special energy poured into the void. At this time, something amazing happened. Everyone found that the dense corpses had disappeared without a trace. After seeing this scene, everyone's face couldn't help but reveal an expression of disbelief. What was going on? Those corpses, how did they disappear without a trace? This was too unbelievable. But all of this was real. Those existences had indeed disappeared without a trace. Although it was somewhat inconceivable and unimaginable, it was indeed what had happened before their eyes. That was an illusion. This old monk is the one who pulled us into an illusion. The Taoist priest said. Illusion? Everyone was shocked. At this moment, they could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. The old monk's illusion was too realistic. Even Lin Feng did not realize that the scene just now was an illusion. Even he thought that everything was real. What about the others? Once they fell into the other party's illusion, they would be trapped in the space created by the other party. They would not be able to extricate themselves from the illusion and would definitely die. Everyone thanked the Taoist priest profusely. The Taoist priest said, "Let's attack together and get rid of this old monk." Everyone nodded. They planned to attack together and get rid of this old monk. The old monk might have been a benevolent holy monk when he was alive. But now that he had turned into a corpse, he was incomparably evil. They had to get rid of this old monk. Otherwise, who knew what terrible things would happen? Just as everyone was about to attack the old monk laughed sinisterly again. Kikik, kikik, kikik. His laughter was very penetrating, and everyone felt dizzy. This time, the old monk used a soundwave attack. Soundwave attacks were considered soul attacks and could cause severe damage to a cultivator's soul. This time, even the Taoist priest seemed to have suffered a calamity. He kept patting his head. At this moment, a majestic voice resounded between heaven and earth. Endless Buddhist light gushed out, protecting everyone. This allowed the cultivators who had suffered soul attacks to break free from the pain. This was the swastika mantra of the 6 syllables of Buddhism. It was a supreme divine ability that Lin Feng had used. Bang! After the powerful sound wave formed by the 6-syllable mantra shattered the old monk's sound wave attack, the powerful force bombarded the old monk's body. The old monk was instantly sent flying. The Buddhist karma surged into the old monk's body. Suddenly, a shocking scene appeared. The old monk's body turned into a golden skeleton. This old monk was really an eminent monk when he was alive. Only eminent monks who had attained the Tao would turn into golden skeletons after they died. It was just like the golden skeleton in Lin Feng's Chonglu Devil Palace. However, this golden skeleton couldn't be compared to the golden skeleton in Lin Feng's Chonglu Devil Palace in any way. This was because the difference in their cultivation when they were alive was greater. After all, the golden skeleton in Lin Feng's Chonglu Devil Palace belonged to one of the 7 ancient Buddhas of Buddhism. Naturally, other eminent monks of Buddhism couldn't be compared to it. Swastika mantra, brat, go to hell. After the old monk reverted to his original form, he roared angrily. Then, he quickly pounced on Lin Feng. Kill him together, Lin Feng shouted. Kill. The densely packed cultivators shouted coldly. Then, everyone activated their supreme treasures, or used their powerful supernatural powers to attack the golden skeleton that the old monk had transformed into. The golden skeleton that the old monk had transformed into was incomparably terrifying. However, it now had to face the attacks of hundreds of people including Lin Feng. It was impossible for him to block everyone's attacks with his strength alone. The attacks of so many cultivators directly turned into a torrent of attacks. They bombarded the golden skeleton that the old monk had transformed into, and directly bombarded the golden skeleton that the old monk had transformed into. Kacha kacha. The golden skeleton that the old monk had transformed into couldn't withstand the joint attack of everyone and was directly sent flying. Then, body, in mid-air, dismembered directly. After seeing this scene, Lin Feng and the others smiled. However, in the next moment, the dismembered skeleton actually reassembled quickly and flew into the depths. In the blink of an eye, it had disappeared without a trace. Chase. Lin Feng and the others quickly chased after it. However, they couldn't find the golden skeleton that the old monk had transformed into. At this moment, the water in the entire lake started to flow violently. A whirlpool appeared. Originally, the whirlpool was only about 1 meter in diameter. However, as time passed, the whirlpool became bigger and bigger. An unimaginably terrifying power was emitted from the whirlpool. Not long after, a huge whirlpool that covered thousands of square meters appeared. A terrifying devouring power surged out of the whirlpool. That devouring power, it was heading towards Lin Feng and the others to devour them. It wanted to devour Lin Feng and the others directly. Not good. Hurry up and leave the whirlpool's range. Many cultivators shouted in horror. They could feel the terror of this whirlpool. Below the whirlpool, there seemed to be a terrifying existence that was hibernating. Everyone quickly rushed outside. However, at this moment, something terrifying happened. Blood-colored energy whips flew out of the whirlpool. Those blood-colored energy whips were unknown. They directly wrapped around the ankles of the cultivators. Then, the blood-colored energy whips pulled the cultivators into the whirlpool. Some cultivators quickly took out their magic treasures, wanting to cut off the blood-colored energy whips. However, as soon as they took out their magic treasures, Chapter 4092. One cultivator after another was pulled into the whirlpool by the blood-colored energy whips. No, no, no. Many cultivators screamed in fear. The unknown was the most terrifying. Everyone didn't know much about the blood-colored whirlpool. So, at this moment, their hearts were filled with fear of the blood-colored whirlpool. Lin Feng slashed out several sword chi. Those sword chi slashed at the blood-colored whips. The sword chi pierced through the blood-colored whips. However, the moment the blood-colored whips were pierced through, a mass of blood-colored energy surged out and directly engulfed Lin Feng. The next moment, Lin Feng was swallowed by the blood-colored whirlpool. A terrifying force crushed over, trying to destroy Lin Feng's body. Around him, banging sounds could be heard. One cultivator's body directly exploded, turning into the purest blood-colored energy. When he saw those cultivators die, Lin Feng felt that something was wrong. Even if the other party wanted to kill them, there was no need to turn their bodies into pure energy, right? And Lin Feng saw that the pure energy was surging towards the depths. Lin Feng activated his devouring martial soul. The devouring black hole spun. A powerful devouring force surged out and directly swallowed the terrifying blood-colored energy that enveloped his body. Then, the blood-colored energy was refined into pure energy source by Lin Feng and then absorbed by his body. Lin Feng beat them at their own game and planned to go deeper to see what was going on. He landed in the lake. Then, he saw a huge dragon lying at the bottom of the lake. The huge dragon had a grayish-brown body. Its body emitted a sinister and terrifying aura, the energy that those cultivators turned into after they died. All of them were swallowed by the huge dragon. Corpse dragon. After seeing the huge dragon, Lin Feng couldn't help but be shocked. It was a corpse dragon. Strictly speaking, it was equivalent to a corpse. The legend of the dragon was true, but the dragon here wasn't a real dragon. It was a corpse dragon. Kill it, the Taoist shouted in a deep voice. He summoned an immortal sword and slashed at the corpse dragon. At this moment, there were about 100 cultivators still alive. Everyone else had already fallen. Everyone summoned all kinds of magic treasures or unleashed powerful divine abilities to attack the zombie dragon. Despicable ants, go to hell. The zombie dragon roared. It opened its bloody mouth and spat out energy balls one after another at the cultivators. The zombie dragon's energy balls were extremely powerful. It contained a terrifying power that could destroy the world. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The zombie dragon's energy ball exploded. All of a sudden, destructive energy swept through the world, surging out. Its power was unimaginably terrifying. The magic treasures unleashed by the cultivators were blown away, and the divine abilities they unleashed were destroyed by the energy balls spat out by the zombie dragon. The zombie dragon was simply too powerful. His combat strength, it was heaven-defying to the point of causing others to be aghast. That was only the zombie dragon's first wave of attack. Soon, it unleashed its second wave of attack. The zombie dragon's second wave of attack was still the same terrifying energy balls. One by one, the energy balls shot towards the cultivators. Horrified, the cultivators hurriedly summoned their defensive magic treasures to block the attack, but it wasn't an easy task. The zombie dragon's energy balls were simply too powerful. Many of the cultivators' defensive magic treasures were instantly destroyed by the energy balls spat out by the zombie dragon. Then, the cultivators were blasted to death by the zombie dragon's attacks. Their deaths were extremely gruesome. After several rounds of attacks, only 2 cultivators were left alive. One of them was Lin Feng, and the other was the Taoist. The rest had all died under the zombie dragon's attacks. The zombie dragon sucked in a large mouthful, instantly devouring the energy source of the cultivators' deaths. Ha 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 ha. After absorbing the energy source of these cultivators, I'm one step closer to regaining my vitality. The zombie dragon laughed loudly. The zombie dragon was still an corpse. Corpses had many restrictions, such as being afraid of daylight, sunlight, and so on. No matter how powerful these creatures were, they could only live in a dark environment. They couldn't easily appear in a world illuminated by sunlight. That was why they moved at night. But if these corpses could give birth to a new life force within their bodies, then they could live like normal people. With the passage of time, when the life force in their bodies became stronger and stronger, they could even complete the transformation of their bodies. At that time, they would no longer be corpses. They would become new living beings. Their blood would no longer be cold, but warm. Their bodies would no longer emit a foul stench, but the bodies of normal living beings. The zombie dragon's previous appearance was to lure cultivators here, then devour them to help it complete its transformation. As long as the transformation was successful, the zombie dragon would be able to leave the lake. When the time came, it could be reborn. Let's kill it together. The Taoist looked at Lin Feng and said, "All right." Lin Feng nodded gravely. There was no other way now. If they didn't kill the zombie dragon, they would be killed by it. Lin Feng summoned 4 stone swords. The 4 stone swords floated above Lin Feng. With the protection of the 4 stone swords, Lin Feng moved towards the corpse dragon. The Taoist summoned an 8 trigrams diagram. It was obviously a Taoist treasure with great power. The Taoist also charged at the zombie dragon. "Lowly ants, you want to deal with me? How laughable. Even though my cultivation has fallen, I'm still not someone that ants like you can contend against." The zombie dragon sneered, then reached out with its enormous claws and attacked Lin Feng and the Taoist. The dragon's claws blotted out the sky, leaving Lin Feng and the Taoist with nowhere to run. Killing intent flashed in their eyes as they urged their treasures to break the zombie dragon's claws. Clang, 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 clang. Lin Feng's stone sword slashed at the zombie dragon's claws. Clang, 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 clang. It sounded as if they were slashing at magic treasures. Lin Feng knew he was in trouble when he heard the clang. The zombie dragon had cultivated its body into a magic treasure, just like the heretic dominator saint who had cultivated his body into a magic treasure. The heretic dominator saint never used magic treasures against his enemies because his body was the most powerful magic treasure. The Taoist's 8 trigrams diagram also slammed into the zombie dragon's claws. Like Lin Feng's stone swords, it couldn't break through the zombie dragon's defense. Chapter 4093. When Lin Feng was swallowed into the corpse dragon's stomach, Lin Feng discovered that not only was the corpse dragon's body hard on the outside, but its insides were also incomparably hard. Lin Feng commanded the 4 stone swords to slash at the walls of the corpse dragon's body. Clang, 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 clang. The corpse dragon's body. It was a little too hard. This was a manifestation of the extreme cultivation of Yin corpses. When a Yin corpse reached the peak of cultivation, there was no longer any blood or internal fluids in its body. These things had completely fused with the flesh and bones of the body. The flesh and bones of the body had turned into stone. Therefore, the flesh and bones of the body, it would become incomparably hard, just like the situation that Lin Feng was in right now. A large amount of sinister and terrifying energy suddenly emanated from the corpse dragon's body. The energy was constantly eroding Lin Feng's body. The corpse dragon wants to refine me? Lin Feng raised his brows slightly. The sinister and terrifying energy was clearly under the corpse dragon's control, which was why it was surging toward Lin Feng. Now that Lin Feng was being swallowed by the corpse dragon, it would definitely think of a way to refine Lin Feng. Lin Feng was at his wit's end. Now that he was trapped in the corpse dragon's body, he would die sooner or later if he couldn't get out. Therefore, he had to think of a way to leave. However, for now, Lin Feng hadn't thought of a way to leave the corpse dragon's body. His situation was extremely bad. Roar. Suddenly, a dragon's roar came from Lin Feng's space-time domain. The dragon's resonant roar came from Xiaolong. The little fellow had awakened from its slumber. Swoosh. Before Lin Feng could summon Xiaolong, it flew out of the space-time domain on its own. Flapping its wings, it hovered in front of Lin Feng. Xiaolong's body was like a ball of sun. When the sinister and terrifying energy surged over, it was instantly dispersed by the heat radiating from Xiaolong's body. Little fellow, why did you come out? Lin Feng looked at Xiaolong and asked, puzzled. Eat, eat, eat. Xiaolong looked at Lin Feng with his big round eyes and said in a childish voice, what would you like to eat? Lin Feng asked doubtfully. Xiaolong was still too young, and his ability to organize his speech was not particularly strong. After hearing Lin Feng's question, the little guy said in a childish voice, eat, eat, eat. It was still the same 3 words. Little Dragon was much younger than Bibi and Dragon Rabbit. It was too young, so it only knew how to say these 3 words at the current stage. However, the little dragon knew where the food it wanted to eat was. After saying that, the little guy flapped its wings and flew forward. Lin Feng followed behind Xiaolong and rushed forward. The corpse dragon's abdomen was so huge that it was like an independent space, and it was pitch black. It was hard to tell which was which. However, Xiaolong had his own goal. The little guy's speed was extremely fast, and it didn't take long for him to stop at one of the inner walls. Eat, eat, eat. Xiaolong cried out excitedly. Is it here? Is there something you want to eat here? Lin Feng pointed at the area, then looked at Xiaolong and asked. Xiaolong quickly nodded. Lin Feng summoned more than a dozen powerful magic treasures. Then, he urged those magic treasures to attack the corpse dragon's body. Clang, clang, clang. The corpse dragon's body was too tough. The magic weapons bombarded the corpse dragon's body, producing a series of clanging sounds, but they couldn't break the corpse dragon's defense at all. This guy was too strong when he was alive, so after his death, his body turned into a Yin corpse. He became so tyrannical. However, Lin Feng was not to be trifled with. Under the continuous bombardment of so many magic treasures, the corpse dragon's body finally couldn't take it anymore. Crack, crack, crack. The corpse dragon's body began to crack. Since its body had become like a rock wall, its flesh and blood would not fly everywhere. Xiaolong saw that the corpse dragon's body began to crack, and it immediately cried out in joy. Lin Feng was about to destroy the corpse dragon's body in one go, but at that moment, dense runes appeared on the corpse dragon's body. Those runes contained extremely terrifying power. When Lin Feng's magic treasures attacked the corpse dragon's body again, they were immediately blocked by those runes. No matter how powerful Lin Feng's magic treasures were, they could not break through those runes. Corpse dragon's runes, Lin Feng frowned. Those were runes condensed by the corpse dragon itself, and they were very powerful. Breaking through the corpse dragon's runes was as difficult as ascending to heaven. However, Lin Feng did not give up. He continued to urge many powerful magic treasures to attack the corpse dragon's runes fiercely. However, to Lin Feng's disappointment, his magic treasures were still unable to break through the corpse dragon's runes. At that moment, the corpse dragon's damaged body was rapidly recovering. Eat, eat, eat. Xiaolong immediately became anxious, and the little guy suddenly flapped its wings. Xiaolong flapped its wings faster and faster. At first, it only formed a few wind blades that slashed at the corpse dragon's runes. Xiaolong was still young. Its attacks naturally could not destroy the corpse dragon's runes. However, not long after, then, something shocking happened. Xiaolong's body actually turned purple. Xiaolong's wings also turned purple. When Xiaolong flapped its wings, within Xiaolong's wings, purple energy blades flew out one after another. Those purple energy blades contained mysterious runes. It was Lin Feng's first time seeing those runes. However, Lin Feng had a feeling that those runes were also dragon runes. Those dragon runes were a type of mysterious dragon runes that Xiaolong had mastered. Xiaolong was so young, yet it had already mastered such powerful dragon runes. It was simply inconceivable. Xiaolong's origin had always been a mystery, but its innate talent was indeed somewhat inconceivably strong. When the purple energy blades slashed at the corpse dragon's runes, Lin Feng discovered that the corpse dragon's runes actually began to tremble violently. The corpse dragon's runes were unable to withstand the purple energy blades that Xiaolong's wings swept out. What a powerful purple energy blade! Not only did it cause tremendous damage to the corpse dragon's runes, but it also seems to have a racial advantage over the corpse dragon's runes. Lin Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. He cooperated with Xiaolong, urging more than a dozen powerful magic treasures to attack the corpse dragon's runes. Crack, crack. The corpse dragon's runes immediately cracked. Not long after, the corpse dragon's runes exploded, and the purple energy blades swept out from Xiaolong's wings swept across the corpse dragon's body. Chapter 4094. The Dragon Crystal. Lin Feng couldn't help but exclaim when he saw the black energy crystal. The black energy crystal contained an extremely powerful energy. It was the zombie dragon's energy source. At least 60 to 70% of the dragon's energy was concentrated in the dragon crystal. No wonder the dragon was so excited. It had sensed the dragon crystal's existence. Lin Feng grabbed a stone sword and dug out the dragon crystal. Because Xiaolong had continuously sent out purple energy blades, the energy consumption within Xiaolong's body was extremely high. The little guy was almost unable to float in the air. It was almost exhausted, but when it saw the dragon crystal, it was extremely excited. The dragon crystal had a very significant effect on the dragon's growth. It could help the dragon's cultivation improve rapidly. It could even awaken its ancestors' memories and awaken all kinds of bloodline abilities. It could also help the dragon grow and evolve quickly. Lin Feng sent the dragon and the dragon crystal back into the space-time continuum. At this time, a series of angry roars came from outside. "My dragon crystal! You lowly ant! How dare you dig it out of me?" The zombie dragon roared furiously. It stood up and shook its body. Lin Feng couldn't stand still inside the dragon's body. He was swayed from side to side by the zombie dragon. At this time, a powerful force surged and wrapped around Lin Feng, as if trying to throw Lin Feng out. Lin Feng quickly put away his magic treasures. Lin Feng had just put away his magic treasures when a powerful force suddenly threw Lin Feng out. Lin Feng flew out of the zombie dragon's bloody mouth. "Give me back my dragon crystal!" The zombie dragon roared furiously and stretched out its huge claws to grab Lin Feng. Previously, the zombie dragon had devoured the energy sources of so many cultivators to increase the energy of the dragon crystal. Only when the energy in the dragon crystal increased to a certain level could it complete the transformation. But now that Lin Feng had dug out the dragon crystal, there was no need to talk about the transformation. Zombie dragon hated Lin Feng to the bone. Just as the zombie dragon's huge claws were about to grab Lin Feng, a light flashed. Lin Feng suddenly disappeared without a trace. In the next moment, Lin Feng appeared 300 meters away. At the critical moment, Lin Feng used the heaven patching technique to dodge the zombie dragon's attack. Despicable ant! Do you think you can escape? The zombie dragon roared furiously. Its mountainous body soared into the sky and chased after Lin Feng. Even though the zombie dragon had lost its dragon crystal and its battle prowess had dropped significantly. However, the strength of the zombie dragon was there for all to see. The zombie dragon still possessed an almost heaven-defying combat strength. The combat strength that the zombie dragon possessed could only be described as shocking. After its huge body stretched out, it gave people an unparalleled sense of oppression. The zombie dragon opened its bloody mouth and blasted one energy ball after another at Lin Feng. The energy balls blotted out the sky and covered the earth. There was no way to avoid them. After sensing the terrifying power of the energy balls, Lin Feng didn't dare hesitate. He hurriedly took out the ruler's armor. He used the ruler's armor to protect his body. At the same time, the energy balls exploded. Rumble, rumble, rumble. With an earth-shaking boom, the energy balls exploded. The destructive energy blasted Lin Feng's body. Although he was wearing the ruler's armor, a supreme treasure with astonishing defensive power, Lin Feng felt that all the bones in his body were broken. He was bleeding from all 7 orifices. The crazed zombie dragon was simply an existence that couldn't be resisted. Fortunately, the ruler's armor protected Lin Feng. Otherwise, it would have been too dangerous for him to face the attack of the crazed zombie dragon. Zombie, dragon, sky, breaking, claw, accompanied by a deep roar. The zombie dragon's huge claw viciously swiped at Lin Feng. Lin Feng tried to use the Great Death Substitution technique to dodge the claw, but Lin Feng found that the zombie dragon's attack had sealed off the surrounding void. It caused Lin Feng to fail in using the divine ability. Danger, danger, danger. The situation was extremely dangerous. Lin Feng couldn't help but reveal an extremely grave expression. Just as the zombie dragon's attack was about to hit Lin Feng, at that moment, a cultivator appeared in front of Lin Feng. The cultivator couldn't help but shout in the face of the zombie dragon's attack. Merciful and compassionate palm. Boundless Buddhist light surged out. The being that had suddenly appeared and clashed with the zombie dragon's claw. Although the being had dispelled the zombie dragon's claw, he was also sent flying by the zombie dragon's claw. The being was strong, but there was still a gap between him and the zombie dragon's combat strength. Lin Feng took the opportunity to quickly retreat. When he saw the person who had attacked him, his face was full of shock. Lin Feng never expected that the person who had attacked him would be the old monk who had been beaten up by everyone and then fled. Why are you here? Lin Feng looked at the old monk in shock. He didn't expect the old monk to appear here. The old monk said, Umitba, excellent, excellent. Where there is darkness in the world, there will be the power of justice to maintain world peace. After hearing the old monk's words, Lin Feng almost spat out a mouthful of blood. This old monk was quite narcissistic. Lin Feng said, since you're here to help me, it means that you're not on the zombie dragon's side. When you chased us away earlier, it was out of goodwill, right? The old monk said, of course. Lin Feng asked, why don't you make it clearer? The old monk said, how many people in this world can see clearly? If you're greedy, what's the point of making it clearer? But, if you wanted to chase us away, why did you kill us? Lin Feng asked. The old monk had killed some people earlier, but he hadn't killed many. If I can scare off the rest by killing a small number of people, I can save the majority. This is kindness and virtue. Lin Feng was shocked. Every word the old monk said contained the truth. Old bald donkey, how dare you interfere with my affairs? You're courting death. This kid is going to die today, and you, old bald donkey, are going to die by my hands. The zombie dragon roared angrily. After its roar, a large amount of corpse energy emanated from the zombie dragon's body. The corpse energy. It seemed to blot out the sky. Zombie dragon space. The zombie dragon's cold and sinister voice was heard. The corpse energy actually condensed into a space. Chapter 4095. Kid, I'll be the main attacker later. You support. Let's kill this zombie dragon together. The old monk said. Lin Feng felt that the old monk seemed to be peeping at the zombie dragon's body. Thinking about it, the zombie dragon was so powerful. At its peak, it was much stronger than the old monk. If the old monk devoured the zombie dragon, then the old monk's combat strength should be greatly improved. So, it was normal for the old monk to peep at the zombie dragon's body. The old monk appeared to save him, but it was not entirely to help him. The old monk should have been hiding in the dark. Then, in the dark, seeing that his strength was not ordinary, he appeared in time to save him, wanting to join forces with him to deal with the zombie dragon. Killing the zombie dragon was also what Lin Feng wanted to do. Lin Feng's thoughts coincided with the old monk's. He said, "All right, there's no time to lose. Let's end this quickly." The old monk also agreed with Lin Feng's suggestion. The current situation was extremely unfavorable for them, because this was the zombie dragon's space. In the zombie dragon's space, the zombie dragon's combat strength would obviously be greatly improved. The only thing to be thankful for now was that the zombie dragon's dragon crystal was dug away by Lin Feng. If the zombie dragon's dragon crystal was still there, then Lin Feng and the old monk did not need to continue fighting with the zombie dragon at all. They could just surrender. After losing the dragon crystal, although the zombie dragon was still very powerful, Lin Feng and the old monk joining forces was not completely unable to fight the old monk. Evil vanquishing sword. The old monk shouted in a low voice and directly took out a treasure sword. It was a treasure sword imprinted with countless Buddhist patterns. Obviously, that treasure sword should be a Buddhist supreme treasure. The old monk held the treasure sword in his hand, and instantly, the Buddhist patterns on the treasure sword seemed to come to life. An earth-shaking sound resounded between heaven and earth. The voices were so loud that even the deaf could hear them. It was like the divine sound of the heavenly Tao. It resounded in all directions. The power of that treasure sword was absolutely unimaginable. Moreover, the supreme treasure of Buddhism was extremely powerful against evil ghosts. The zombie dragon was a corpse, which happened to be restrained by the old monk's evil vanquishing sword. Lin Feng took out the black dragon sword. With the black dragon sword in hand, he charged at the zombie dragon. Lin Feng began to try to awaken the black dragon sword's artifact spirit. When the black dragon sword's artifact spirit awakened, the power of the black dragon sword, he would reach the peak for a short time. When the time comes, the power of the black dragon sword was completely released. It was absolutely terrifying beyond imagination. 100,000 divine thunders. The zombie dragon roared. Within the space of the corpse dragon, bolts of divine lightning shot towards Lin Feng and the old monk. Those divine thunders were rather special. They contained an unimaginable destructive power. Lin Feng and the old monk didn't dare to underestimate them. At this moment, the old monk shouted, "Namo Amitabha, ancient Buddha light shield, protect me." As soon as the old monk finished speaking, an endless amount of golden light surged out of his body. Then, 7 ancient figures appeared within the golden light. The 7 ancient figures were the 7 ancient Buddhas. 7 ancient Buddhas. All of them sat cross-legged and recited Buddhist scriptures. As their voices rang out, a large golden energy shield emerged. That large golden energy shield enveloped Lin Feng and the old monk. When the dense divine lightning struck, the golden energy shield immediately blocked the attack of the divine lightning. Lin Feng was shocked. This old monk had a very powerful technique. The golden defensive shield he condensed was really powerful. Lin Feng didn't dare to delay and hurriedly summoned the black dragon sword's artifact spirit. The old monk took the lead and flew in front of the zombie dragon. "Damn bald donkey, go to hell." The zombie dragon roared, stretched out its huge claws, and attacked the old monk. The old monk's body turned into a golden stream of light. At that moment, the old monk's speed reached an unbelievable level. Relying on his lightning-fast speed, the old monk dodged the zombie dragon's huge claws that were attacking him. He quickly rushed towards the zombie dragon's head, wanting to pierce through it. But at this moment, 2 cold beams of light shot out from the zombie dragon's eyes, which contained endless killing intent. The two beams of light pierced through heaven and earth and arrived in front of the old monk in an instant. Even the old monk couldn't withstand the attack of the zombie dragon's eyes. Bang! Bang! The zombie dragon's eyes fiercely bombarded the old monk. With a dull sound of collision, the old monk's body was directly sent flying. Unable to withstand the attack of the zombie dragon's eyes, his body exploded in midair and shattered. However, at this time, Lin Feng had already rushed to the zombie dragon's side. Roar! The artifact spirit of the black dragon sword awakened and let out a high-pitched dragon roar. Lin Feng sensed the terrifying power surging out of the black dragon sword. After the artifact spirit of the black dragon sword awakened, its power greatly increased. As for Lin Feng himself, he held the black dragon sword in his hand and used the man descending from the heavens, an unparalleled divine ability that could slay immortals with one strike. Lin Feng and the black dragon sword became one. He turned into a dazzling beam of killing light and rushed in front of the zombie dragon in an instant. Lin Feng knew that the zombie dragon's head was too hard. Although he was now one with the sword and activated the power of the black dragon sword, Lin Feng wasn't sure if he could break the zombie dragon's defense. There was a high chance that he would fail. Therefore, when Lin Feng turned into a dazzling beam of cold light and rushed at the zombie dragon, his target was not the zombie dragon's head, but the weakest part of the zombie dragon. The zombie dragon originally had two weaknesses, one of which was its reverse scale. The reverse scale of the dragon was the weakest part, but ever since it turned into a corpse, the zombie dragon's reverse scale had long been trained to be invulnerable. Therefore, Lin Feng gave up on attacking the reverse scale of the zombie dragon. There was only one target left, which was the zombie dragon's eyes. However, it was extremely difficult to attack the zombie dragon's eyes. This was because sometimes a weakness was often an advantage. For example, the zombie dragon's eyes were its own weakness, but also the place where it could release its strongest attack. When Lin Feng turned into a cold beam of light and attacked, the zombie dragon's eyes swept out terrifying beams of light one after another. Lin Feng turned into a sword light and kept dodging the zombie dragon's eyes, but he still couldn't completely avoid them. Lin Feng was hit by one of the zombie dragon's eyes. His body flew backward and returned to his original body from the state of a cold beam of light. However, before Lin Feng could stabilize his body, the zombie dragon's huge tail had already whipped at Lin Feng. Lin Feng wanted to avoid the attack of the zombie dragon's tail, but he couldn't. A muffled sound of collision was heard. Chapter 4096. Damn it! This guy is too strong. Lin Feng's expression turned extremely gloomy. The zombie dragon's power was beyond imagination, and this was even after its dragon crystal had been taken away. The old monk didn't die after his body exploded. His body quickly reassembled, but he didn't continue to take human form. Instead, he turned into a golden skeleton. We're no match for this guy even if we join forces. It seems that we can only think of a way to escape, Lin Feng said helplessly. If he could kill the zombie dragon, Lin Feng would definitely think of a way to do so without hesitation. However, the current situation was extremely unfavorable for them. The old monk didn't seem to want to leave, but they really had no way to deal with the zombie dragon. In the end, he said helplessly, then we'll think of a way to break out of here. Break out? What a joke. You're trapped in my space. Do you think you can break out of here just because you want to? You're delusional, the zombie dragon said disdainfully. Lin Feng and the old monk ignored the zombie dragon and quickly flew toward the barrier of the space. The two of them then began to attack the barrier, hoping to destroy it. However, they tried several times. In the end, they failed. It seemed that destroying the barrier of the zombie dragon's space was indeed a very difficult task. At this moment, the zombie dragon began to chant a mysterious incantation. As soon as the mysterious incantation was uttered, the inside of the space suddenly emitted waves of violent fluctuations. The fluctuations were so abnormally terrifying that they shocked everyone. Then, one giant dragon after another appeared in the corpse dragon space. Waves of destructive energy emanated from the bodies of the dragons. It was formed from hundreds of dragons. All of them pounced on Lin Feng and the old monk. It's the evil dragons of the zombie dragon space. The old monk's expression turned gloomy. These evil dragons were formed from the inside of the zombie dragon space after fusing with the zombie dragon's evil thoughts. They were extremely evil. Their strength was extremely tyrannical. The old monk felt that things were getting troublesome. Lin Feng also felt the danger. He had to think of a way to solve the crisis in front of him. Otherwise, he and the old monk would die without a burial place. Lin Feng was very clear about this. Lin Feng suddenly had a flash of inspiration. He thought of the remains of the ancient Buddha, the skeleton in the Chonglu Devil Palace. It was the skeleton left behind by one of the 7 great ancient Buddhas after his death. That skeleton was extremely terrifying and contained a monstrous divine might. Lin Feng was still unable to unleash the true power of the skeleton, but the old monk was an eminent monk of Buddhism. Perhaps he had the ability to release the power of the ancient Buddha skeleton? Of course, Lin Feng didn't know much about the old monk. Moreover, the old monk was a corpse. Lin Feng was somewhat afraid of the old monk. If possible, Lin Feng did not want to expose the matter of the ancient Buddha's bones to the old monk. But now, Lin Feng couldn't care less anymore. Now that he was on the verge of death, he had to deal with the crisis before him first. Swoosh! Lin Feng waved his hand, and the ancient Buddha skeleton immediately flew out. He let out a long whistle and said, "Senior, I obtained this ancient Buddha skeleton by chance. It's very powerful. Perhaps we can use this ancient Buddha skeleton to destroy the corpse dragon." The old monk looked at the ancient Buddha skeleton. The golden flame in his eyes suddenly jumped violently. "This is..." The old monk was shocked. Then, he revealed an extremely excited expression. He was experienced and knowledgeable. He should have recognized the origin of the ancient Buddha skeleton. Ha ha ha! With this ancient Buddha skeleton, we can turn the tide of this battle. The old monk suddenly laughed loudly. He put his palms together and chanted, "Namo Amitabha." Then, golden light shone brightly. He was surrounded by the golden light and looked very sacred. The old monk stepped forward. In the next moment, his body merged with the ancient Buddha skeleton. When the old monk's body merged with the ancient Buddha skeleton, Lin Feng immediately felt an unimaginably terrifying power surging out of the ancient Buddha skeleton. It was as if a titan from the primordial era had awakened from a deep slumber. Shock, emotion, disbelief, and incredulity. The ancient Buddha skeleton began to chant an incantation. "A world in a grain of sand, a Bodhi in a leaf. There are billions of Das in heaven and earth. There is only Buddha in my heart." When this majestic and loud voice came out, endless Buddhist lights gushed out from the ancient Buddha skeleton. These Buddhist lights were like a tide rushing towards the surroundings. The dragons were drowned by the golden Buddhist light. They let out sorrowful cries. Those dragons, they were struggling violently. They wanted to break free from the tide formed by the Buddhist light, but they failed. The dragons immediately vanished into thin air. When the tide formed by the Buddhist light slammed into the crystal wall of the corpse dragon space, even the crystal wall of the corpse dragon space started to crack. "Go to hell!" The corpse dragon roared furiously and began to chant an incantation, using a draconic divine ability. In an instant, divine abilities blotted out the sky and blasted toward the ancient Buddha skeleton. "Million Buddhas greeting." The ancient Buddha skeleton roared and struck out a palm. Between heaven and earth, there was only that huge palm left. The huge palm slammed forward, shattering all the divine abilities cast by the corpse dragon. Then, the huge palm slammed hard on the corpse dragon's body. Bang! The sound of a violent collision was heard. The corpse dragon was sent flying by the ancient Buddha skeleton's million Buddhas greeting. The divine ability of million Buddhas greeting was so powerful that the already cracked space of the corpse dragon could no longer withstand the energy fluctuations emanating from the million Buddhas greeting. The space completely collapsed. Divine mountain quakes all demons in a flash. The ancient Buddha skeleton let out a long howl and once again condensed a powerful divine ability. A huge divine mountain appeared and descended from the sky, suppressing the corpse dragon. "You want to suppress me? Dream on!" The corpse dragon roared. The corpse dragon roared and swept its huge tail towards godly empty, 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 godly empty. Divine mountain quakes fell from the sky and suppressed the corpse dragon in the void. Whoosh, 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 whoosh. As soon as the corpse dragon was suppressed, the 4 stone swords flew in front of the corpse dragon under Lin Feng's control. Then, the 4 stone swords instantly pierced through one of the corpse dragon's eyes and flew into the space dime's head. They then found the place where the corpse dragon's soul was hiding and attacked it directly. The souls of these corpses were not strong, and so was the corpse dragon. The 4 stone swords destroyed the corpse dragon's soul in an instant. Chapter 4097. The corpse dragon was finally killed. Lin Feng heaved a sigh of relief. Swoosh! With a flash of light, the old monk and Lin Feng's ancient Buddha skeleton separated. Then, the ancient Buddha skeleton flew into the Chonglu demonic palace. The old monk said, "Benefactor, name a price for this ancient Buddha skeleton. No matter what the price is, this poor monk will buy it." The ancient Buddha skeleton was very important. Lin Feng would never use the ancient Buddha skeleton to trade with the old monk. Before taking out the ancient Buddha skeleton, Lin Feng was worried that the old monk would remember it. Now, it seemed that he still couldn't escape the fate of being remembered by the old monk. Lin Feng said, "The ancient Buddha skeleton is already intertwined with my fate. I can't take it out for a trade. I hope Senior can forgive me." The old monk naturally didn't believe Lin Feng's words. The old monk said, "A Buddhist immortal scripture for your ancient Buddha skeleton. How about it?" A Buddhist immortal scripture? Lin Feng was shocked. It was really attractive, especially since the Buddhist immortal scripture was different from the immortal scriptures of other factions. The Buddhist factions had always been very mysterious. The Buddhist orthodoxies were rarely passed down. The outside world didn't have a special understanding of the Buddhist orthodoxies. The old monk's Buddhist immortal scripture would definitely be very attractive to anyone. Even Lin Feng was very interested in the Buddhist immortal scripture that the old monk was talking about. However, Lin Feng knew that the price he had to pay to get the Buddhist immortal scripture from the old monk was too high. Lin Feng was naturally unwilling to trade the ancient Buddha skeleton for the Buddhist immortal scripture. Lin Feng naturally didn't want to do this business. Putting aside the powerful strength of the ancient Buddha skeleton, let's talk about the secrets hidden in the ancient Buddha skeleton. It was also very shocking. Perhaps in the future, as Lin Feng's research on the ancient Buddha skeleton became more and more profound, he might be able to obtain a few Buddhist immortal scriptures from the ancient Buddha skeleton. This wasn't impossible. "Immortal scriptures are like floating clouds to me," Lin Feng said. The old monk said, "Almsgiver, you must be joking. Anyone who wants to constantly improve themselves needs to cultivate a powerful immortal sutra. Almsgiver, your talent is outstanding. If you obtain the immortal sutra, your cultivation speed will definitely increase greatly." Lin Feng said faintly, "To put it bluntly, I don't lack immortal sutras." The old monk continued, "No wonder Benefactor is so indifferent. Apart from the immortal scripture I promised to give you, I can also tell you where the 3rd-generation fire god's legacy is. What do you think?" The first fire god was Zhu Rong. As for the other generations of Vulcan, Lin Feng had no idea. However, these fire gods were all titled gods. Their strength was unimaginably terrifying. To be able to obtain the legacy of the 3rd-generation fire god, to any cultivator, this was a heavenly opportunity. However, Lin Feng had already made up his mind. No matter what this old monk offered him, he would not trade with this old monk. The remains of the ancient Buddha were too important. He would regret it sooner or later. Lin Feng said, "Perhaps I'll disappoint you. I have no intention of exchanging the remains of the ancient Buddha with you. Almsgiver, since you don't know what's good for you, I can only kill you." The old monk's gaze suddenly turned cold. Then, he stretched out his large hand and grabbed at Lin Feng. "You really turn hostile just like that. Ain corpse is Ain corpse. You're no longer the holy monk from before." Lin Feng's expression was indifferent. He threw a punch at the old monk's attack. Bang! Both sides collided fiercely. Then, they both retreated hundreds of meters away. Lin Feng withdrew his stone sword and quickly retreated. He looked at the old monk indifferently and said, "No matter what the reason is, since you helped me once, I won't lower myself to your level." As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Feng quickly flew up. As for the old monk, he quickly chased after Lin Feng. His speed was still a little slower than Lin Feng, so Lin Feng shook him off. In the end, the old monk gave up and returned to the depths of the lake. After leaving the lake, Lin Feng continued to fly towards Ning City. A month later, Lin Feng finally arrived at Ning City. Ning City was bustling with noise and excitement. A large number of cultivators came in and out. However, after arriving at Ning City, Lin Feng felt a stifling atmosphere. Perhaps it was the internal strife of the Ning family that caused this stifling atmosphere. After resting for a day in Ning City, Lin Feng went to the Ning family to look for Guangguan. After so many years, he did not know how Guangguan was doing. The Ning family mansion was built in the depths of Ning City, covering thousands of acres. As expected of a top family, the mansion was magnificent. When he arrived outside the Ning family mansion, Lin Feng was stopped by the guards. "This is an important place of the Ning family. Unrelated people, leave quickly or you will be killed," the leader of the guards said coldly. Lin Feng flicked his finger and thousands of immortal stones flew out. The leader of the guards hurriedly kept the immortal stones. "Help me pass the message. Say that Lin Feng is here to see her," Lin Feng said. The leader of the guards smiled and asked, "Young master, please wait for a moment. I will send someone to inform Miss Guangguan." The leader of the guards was about to send someone into the mansion to pass the message. At this moment, more than 10 cultivators riding on strange beasts rushed over. These people stopped at the entrance of the mansion. The group of guards hurriedly bowed to these cultivators. The leader of the group was a young master with extraordinary strength. Even though he was far away from Lin Feng and the rest, he could still hear the conversation between Lin Feng and the leader of the guards. He glanced at Lin Feng indifferently and asked, "Who are you? Why do you want to see Guangguan?" Lin Feng said, "I am her friend." "Friend? Hee. I should have known. Since Guangguan's father is a lowly human cultivator, her friend must be a lowly human cultivator as well. How despicable. This lowly human friend of a lowly human cultivator actually came to our Ning family. This is a great insult to our Ning family." The young master sneered with an extremely arrogant expression. He did not take Lin Feng seriously at all. Moreover, his words were filled with contempt and humiliation for the human race. With Lin Feng's current state of mind, it was rare for him to get angry. However, he was infuriated by this young master. That was because this young master had not only humiliated the human race and him, but he had also insulted Guangguan. Guangguan was one of Lin Feng's favorite women. This young master had actually dared to insult Guangguan. This had touched Lin Feng's reverse scale. "Do you know? You have committed a crime punishable by death? Kneel. Kneel before me. Slap yourself in the face. Or else, I will cripple you." Lin Feng looked at the young master with an indifferent expression. When they heard Lin Feng's words, everyone was stunned. No one had expected Lin Feng to say such words. They were in front of the Ning family mansion. Lin Feng, a foreign cultivator, actually dared to ask the young master of the Ning family to kneel and slap himself in the face? You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.